You're the one who invited me here. You're the one who made me a mod. Honestly, I see this as
Yo, I can take his job for you.
Wait, what?
We're live, by the way.
Hello.
So they did hear that. That's...
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
And listening to me trying to get this back on track. Hello.
Oh, man.
Hey,
The lovely audience was listening to us in glorious 4K.
Oh, shoot.
Lyoko season 0. We'll be ranking XANA Awakens lesson fonts in Garage Kids. I'm so totally serious.
There's no point in that. There's no point in that.
Oh god, we were having a lot of fun before stream too, guys. Mostly clowning on cam. It was great. The best you
so great.
ever imagined. So embarrassed, which is why he's starting the stream now and not earlier. So
I wanted to, but wasn't ready.
you all would have loved to see that, but he didn't want you all to see that. Yeah, but yeah, take it away, Cam.
Alright. Come join. Oh yeah, I need to grab my YouTube link. Okie dokie. I did not post, I never gave a heads up to the stream anyway, so we'll see what happens. What the? Oh. Okay, it's tweeted.
Let's go. Time for my scheduled retweet.
You know, what do people say that people who call Twitter X, and instead of saying tweet, it's tweeted, do they say X'd? Like, what the fuck do they even say?
What's Twitter?
I mean, posted's too original. What? What'd you say?
Twitter.
They call them crosses. So says
Oh,
the
I crossed it? What?
yeah, because
Okay.
X is a cross.
Yeah, I know. I just
yeah,
wanted
cross
it just
is-
sounds...
Oh, no.
It's just...
They
Oh,
say
okay.
post.
I'm going to Twitter
Yeah,
for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I was just the thought that came to people who don't actually call it that.
Oh, I googled it, and apparently the answer to someone on Reddit, according to someone on Reddit, is they're still called tweets.
Okay, good. That's how... I mean, I knew that. The people who don't want
They're
to call
called Zeets, actually.
Zeets.
What? What? Guys, what is this Twitter you're talking about?
Dylan, we're not doing this again.
That is so...
what?
2 years ago.
We did this a year ago when it first changed to X. We're not doing this again.
When what first changed to X?
Shut up.
Tom has been around for over...
Code Lyoko.
Yeah.
What's that?
Some dumb shit. Okay. Oh, Flower, do the thing.
All right, you want me to randomize?
Yes.
Got it. I'm sorry, we were.
I mean, that's how I'm gonna. No,
Moving
no, it's okay. I'm just like almost. I was like gonna say who's going first, but I was like, oh yeah. But that's just gonna. That's just how I'm gonna say it now. Do the thing.
We sound like a bunch of drunk college kids.
Yeah,
Tubby.
we really do.
Except I'm sober.
Shut the fuck up, Wazy. I saw your notification.
Oh yeah, you saw my tweet.
I just knew as soon as I got one from you, I was like, let me read this whole thing because I know. Which is fine. I'll take season 0.
Yeah, we're talking about Lyoko season 0.
Oh fuck, that's not what I want.
Oh, sorry, folks. I usually mute when I cough.
I'm sorry, but I don't know why it's making me laugh so much right now.
I usually mute. I forgot.
It's the. I can't even talk right now. Why? It's not even that funny, but it is. It was just the sorry folks afterwards for me.
There we
My
go.
sincerest apologies, viewers of the camera.
Yeah, guys, we had some amazing alcohol today, so forgive us.
Oh
I
man.
unfortunately.
Sorry.
Thank you so much, Flower. I really appreciate that. She rigged it just for
Hold
me.
on.
Oh, you know what? I
Oh, yeah.
like this. I actually liked it because I was thinking about not even going first. I just didn't feel like
Hold
it.
on. What?
Or I feel like going last today.
Nice. But
So
yeah,
Oh,
so that
okay.
means J-Man's. J-Man's
J-Man is number 1. Alright.
So
Let's
only
go.
talking about part 1.
yeah, it's
Wait
part 1
till-
only.
Hold off your part 2 thoughts until later.
Part 1.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and go.
Alright, and this is part 1 for XANA Awakens.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay. As for this episode, this is a really good start, and what I really liked about it is that as soon as, like, you know, we saw, after the opening started playing, and then, it immediately jumps in. We're immediately jumped into the story where Jeremy was explaining about, hey, I found this factory. It's like, I'm a mechanic, I build robots and stuff in my room, and I wanted to go to the, I found this factory, and I'm going to see if they have some, like, useful parts that I can use for my own projects and stuff. It's like, I like how we were just immediately jumped into it. And as for everything else, we got Ulrich, a really good introduction there. Odd, like, the whole hairstyle he was rocking, like, before, like, he changed it to the one that we all know and stuff. Like, I really did like that, like, progression there. It was really, really nice. And, whatchamacall, when Jeremy first sent somebody to Lyoko, which happened to be Odd in this episode, I really liked the mystery surrounding it. I really liked the mystery surrounding, like, you know, whatchamacall. I really liked how it took a while for Odd to figure out what his actual, like, Lyoko powers are and stuff like that. Because if you were to look at a character like Odd with the way that he was dressed, you would think that, hey, maybe he's got some, like, I don't know, claws that he can, like, use against enemies and stuff, which he really doesn't. Like, you wouldn't understand, you wouldn't immediately guess as to what his power would be. So I'm glad that, you know, if you're a first-time watcher of the show, you would be really thrown out of the loop saying, oh, he's a projectile character, he shoots laser arrows and stuff. So I think that was really, really nice. As for everything else, yeah, it's a really good setup. It's a really good setup episode for the most part, and I feel like if I was a first-time watcher, I would be intrigued to just immediately go on to part 2 and find out what happens next. Like, it's a really good setup. So that's really about it, I believe. Did I forget anything? Did I? Oh yeah, Ulrich stole Odd's dog. Yeah, I just want to mention that.
Oh yeah.
Too.
Let's go.
Yeah, so there's pretty much that.
And that little dialogue of Ulrich and Sissy. What are you scared? Something like that.
Are you
yeah, pretty much
sissy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, no. J-Man ranking.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. We're supposed to rank these damn episodes. So, as for ranking, it's gonna be hard because if we're not looking at both of the episodes in one, I feel like I gotta judge this based off of what we have here rather than just combining it with the other. So, I think I got it. I'll put this in A rank, and yeah, I'll put this in A rank. I'll pretty much put it there. I don't know if I could put it at S, but I will put it at A. It's a really good setup episode for what we have here.
Alrighty.
Well done.
That means Waze is next.
Indeed. Code Lyoko XANA Awakens, part 1, only part 1, is an episode that is it's an episode that didn't necessarily need to exist at the point in the show that it was made, because keep in mind, Code Lyoko as a show had been going on for, well, it came out before season 3, and it was ordered together with the rest of season. Well, technically, it was ordered with season 3 and 4, so it's like they didn't necessarily need to do an origin story episode at this point. They had already gone so far. If you're into Code Lyoko, you're into Code Lyoko. But it is a very nice treat. I really enjoyed this episode, especially as an introduction to the characters. Since this is obviously going to come up at some point, usually when I'm introducing people to the show, I usually show them XANA Awakens first. I'm sure Gamebird has something to say about that, but it's my turn.
You gotta shut them
Yeah,
up
no.
to be disappointed when you take them back to season 1.
That's fair. But in regards to just introducing the characters, introducing the world of Code Lyoko, both for newcomers and oldcomers, for people who have been fans of the show before, it's a welcome surprise. It's a welcome treat to see that first adventure after so long, especially if you, even though it comes before season 3, a lot of the times XANA Awakens is grouped at the end of season 3. So coming from coming from final round with them asking, oh, what is it? Were you scared the first time you went to Lyoko, to XANA Awakens, is a neat treat. It feels like a little bit of foreshadowing for the future, even though I know it's not intentionally grouped like that, but you know. But yeah. Um I really like the introduction of the episode as well, doing the Diary of Jeremy Belpaw. It's nice parallels to Franz Hopper as well with Jeremy's diary. Of course, we've seen Jeremy have his own diary as well in episodes like Temptation, but it's still it's a very nice cold opening to the episode. Whether again newcomer or old time fans, like yeah, here's Jeremy. He's going to be one of the central protagonists of the show and following through his lens, going through everything as it is. Yeah, it's not as prominent in this episode. Well, okay, I'll get to that later. I will say, also I like the uniqueness of everybody just getting together, and the fact that they decided to use Sissy in this way in this episode. I think that's fun. I think it's interesting that she is the one who comes to the lab for the first time with Ulrich and Odd and Jeremy. Of course, it leads to a lot of people saying like, "Ah, Sissy should have been a Lyoko warrior," which is an interesting. We've had that discussion a lot on these streams. So yeah, but it's a it's interesting that at some point she might have been, but we'll talk more about that within part 2. But yeah, I think it was a fun narrative choice to have her there. I think it was a fun narrative choice to show everyone before the Lyoko stuff goes on. Ulrich and Odd start out pretty at odds with each other, pun unintended. Start out pretty at odds with each other. Um, Ulrich and Sissy seem to be paired up in quite a way. We even get to see at least the little beginnings of Sissy's gang with the ends of Sissy. And what's it? Yes, I had to do that. But we got to see a whole lot of things that make sense as far as prequel episodes go. There's a lot of thought put into just how the world works before the show starts, and I really, really like that. I think it's cool. Um, Even though it's not as prominent in this episode, I do want to say that this episode seems to have a significantly higher budget than a lot of other Lyoko episodes, especially in part 2. Because it's just like it has a lot of moments of being just really, really nicely animated. Particularly one that I always remember is Ulrich stepping into the scanner for the first time, and like it does that shot, a unique shot in Code Lyoko, hard to believe. um, Shot of him stepping in and like the darkness and the light whooshing up. I believe that's in part 1. But the light whooshing up, I think it's cool. I think it's neat. I think it's fun. Like for that alone, like XANA Awakens is just really, really nice and pretty to look at. It has a lot more dynamic shots and composition in that way. I also I also appreciate the air of mystery, the panic and danger of these strange creatures on Lyoko, paired up with the first. Well, at the time, depending on if you're watching this for the first time or if you're watching this as as your first episode or as an old time fan, the panic of what is going on? Why are these electric cables coming out and like attacking everyone? It's so weird, it's so strange, and you're like, ooh, I really wonder what's going on, you know? Um, it's just, oh god, it's just there's an air of mystery. There's an air of the air of panic. I think actually, ironically, I think Sissy's VA did a really, really nice job in this episode, in particular with her screams of like "Ulrich, help!" you know. Um, again, again with the cinematography of this episode. When Odd cuts the cables and like they slink back into the ground, and you just get that cold piano XANA. It's so cool. It's so good. I wish Code Lyoko did more things like that. Like it's very slow. It's very eerie. It's nice, you know. Like XANA Awakens is just so nicely done, you know, and like it just feels more cinematic than a lot of the rest of the show. Like I said, most of the budget of the season went into this episode. That's not for real, but yeah, and it's it's a real. Oh shoot! Fans of Sissies from Part 2. My bad. But, well, we'll talk about that when we get to Part 2. But yeah, we start to see. But yeah, no. It's just like a lot of thought is put into this episode, and of course, we get to see the beginnings of. Actually, shoot, another. I'm remembering things a mile a minute right now. Another more cinematic thing for this episode, or just really interesting like shot composition and that sort of thing. I'm not a filmmaker, but like I write things. But I like the introduction of Aelita, where like you get her appearing on the screen for the first time, and Jeremy doesn't. She's just like, I don't know who I am, and you get the shot of him, and Jeremy just looking at each other from the screen before moving on. You get cool shots like the eye of Xana appearing on the robot lens eye for the first time. The robot lens eye for the first time. It's just like it has a lot of interesting and neat things in comparison to the rest of the show. But yeah, I also like the slow building of Aelita and Jeremy's relationship as well. Even though it's just the beginnings of it, I think it's neat. I think it's nice. And Odd and Ulrich as well are just a highlight in this episode. With by the end of the day, by the end of the day, by the end of the day, you won't.
You won't be able to do it.
Thank you. I swear I watched Code Lyoko, but. Oh god, and it's like, yeah, no, that comes around. You get that payoff with Ulrich getting shocked by the cables, and then Odd coming in and doing his thing. How does that work? I'm not sure, but
it works the second time.
Yeah, it works the second time. So yeah, but hey, it works. It's cool. It's neat, and of course, again, that cold exit of, hey, everybody's doing okay, you know, and yeah, with talking to Aelita, it's neat. It's a good episode. It does a lot of great things. I think it's wonderful. I don't think I have much else to say about Part 1, but it's an easy S tier for me. Easy S.
What'd you rate? What was the rating?
Oh, I think you said S tier. Oh yeah, me. My turn. I'd also have to put it on S. Both episodes on S for me. I I did have some notes, but I ended up making like combining both episodes, so I'm just so I had to like quickly write a new note. Right. Here it is. I also like the introduction of Mystery. Odd without his hairstyle is weird, and I like the introduction of the characters sorry. I like the introduction of the characters into Lyoko Warriors. It is a bit weird seeing how it started, but glad how it ended and managed to flow pretty naturally. It's not retconning anything that was established earlier, and the stakes are pretty high, even if it doesn't feel like it. And I do like how it took time for all the characters to get to know each other and become friends. It's something you don't see a lot these days because truly not everyone becomes fast friends on the spot like most of today's media involving friendships would have you believe. There's also a lot of callbacks that don't feel forced. I do also like the dynamic between Ulrich and Jeremy in the first part, although I would have liked to have seen some sort of established scene about them being friends if they were actually friends prior to the XANA attack. There's a lot of hints, but it feels vague. Yeah, that's my notes so far.
All right.
Awesome.
A rating for the first part?
I said S tier.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Oh, I'm next.
Yep.
Y'all are going too fast. I feel like what's going to happen is we're going to get to the part two, and then we're going to be able to, like, say all our thoughts.
Yeah.
Probably.
Because we're all holding back because we're only talking about part one. But, yeah, part one. So since I am forced to treat these as two separate episodes instead of a single entity, like Kat, I also kind of mentally think of this as one big episode, but we agreed, so... part one to me is more about the intro to the mystery of XANA and Lyoko, while part two is more about like the no, I'm not going to get into part two too much, but I think it's more of I have it, I'm just trying to put it into words. Like what it means for the characters, I think is what part two explores more of. So part one is a little more mystery. There is more like curiosity and discovery, and we do also get to see the intro of like how everyone met, which I think is really cool that we actually get to see that, and that isn't just going to be left to hypotheticals by the fans. Not that that isn't fun either, but XANA Awakens just does such a good job. There's also just a good balance between the school life and the mystery. More so in part two, but we'll get to that. But it's just everyone's learning, meeting each other for the first time, and meeting Lyoko. And I don't know. To me, this is just a very like I want to say comforting, because this is like one of my favorite episodes like in the entire show. Well, when I consider it like as one super episode, but I can't, so I guess both of these. And it's just I went to watch it again, you know, for this stream, and it's just like I've watched this so many times, I didn't really pick up on anything that's like, oh, this would be good to know in the stream. It's just like it's solid. It's really good. I remember it very well, very clearly. The one thing I think hasn't been brought up is I think it's very interesting how Oryx basically the linchpin in everything of how they formed. Like, why is Ulrich there? Because he happened to walk by Jeremy getting attacked by robots. Also, that implies if Ulrich wasn't there, Jeremy just would have died. Straight up.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah, and then why is Odd there? Because Ulrich's Odd's roommate. Why did Kiwi get showed up? Because Ulrich got really mad at Kiwi, understandably so. Why is Yubi there? Well, oh wait, that's part two. But we know. This one plays up
Yumi is in
more.
the first episode.
She is,
No,
but
she's barely.
joining the Warriors is the next one. So, but I'm gonna bring this point up here because it's more relevant in part one than it is in part two. Why is Sissy here? Because of Ulrich. She wants to date him.
So what you're saying is XANA actually shouldn't have been going after Yumi all this time. It should have been Ulrich.
Honestly,
yeah.
Like I know this is like from a meta standpoint, this is all retroactive. Like they were formed as a group already, and then you have to ask the question of, well, how did they become a group? And the answer is Ulrich's the linchpin in everything. He is what binds everyone together, including Sissy, which I think is so funny. That
Look,
like
guys, when I say Ulrich's the best character in the show, now you know why.
Oh my god.
if Ulrich did not exist, it's just Jeremy just would have died and XANA would have taken over the world. Like you can't say that for any other character. Like Jeremy didn't exist, the supercomputer wouldn't be turned on. And what if any of the other characters didn't exist? Well, outside of Aelita, like they probably would have just found someone else. But Ulrich is so important to this, to their formation, and I just think that's so funny. But anyway, yeah, also shout out to Odd's hairdo. I like it a lot. Yes, it's great. kind of like, I like, you know, his main design, but I like that they took the time to get a model of Odd with a different hairstyle just for this one episode.
Appreciate it.
Telling you, this is where all the budget went. Xana Awakens.
That's where all the budget went.
Deservedly so. And I like all the implications it has. Like, no, Odd obtained that hairstyle because of Lyoko.
Mm-hmm.
There is just, I can gush on and on and on about this episode, but for the sake of brevity, I will probably say more in part 2, but like, this is just so good. It is arguably peak Code Lyoko, just like the mystery, the discovery, the school life balance, Xana in mixing everything together and forcing them to confront and struggle. It's like, it's the start of all of that, and it does it so well. Yeah, S+ for me, for sure. Also, fun side note, I remember reading in a comment one time that someone, like, apparently the French audience, because Odd's French VA makes him sound like a little girl, like, people didn't get what gender he was until this episode, which I think is very funny.
Wait, nobody could connect the dots.
Well, it was a struggle.
Not
It was a struggle.
Being in the boys' dorm, sharing a room with a boy.
Have you heard Odd's French voice actor?
But he's sharing a room with Ulrich.
To be fair, what's it? Other audiences wasn't sure about Odd's gender either. So.
Yeah,
Like,
I just thought
I've
it was a
heard-
thing. It was a thing of it was a confusion point,
Kat,
and this is an
they're
episode
literally-
that helped fix that.
Oh my
This is also
god.
just
Middle
a comment I
schoolers.
saw on YouTube one time. Like, don't take it as like ground truth.
I just like how Kat's coming in here like, well, Odd doesn't have boobs. I'm like, Kat, they're middle schoolers. Not all middle schoolers have, breasts.
You just said not all.
I mean, also like co-ed dorming is a thing that exists. So
Yeah.
But-
For schools at that age,
Exactly.
but yeah.
Dylan, it is your turn though, so
I know it is my turn.
yes.
okay.
All right. So, your Moonscoop Entertainment. All these fans, all these wonderful fans you have, just keep asking you, where did it all start? Why is this like that? Why are they in love? Why is Jeremy not dead? So, you make one episode. You make a 2-parter entry to explain everything and then answer nothing. So we have the opener. We establish the basic characters. You know, we got your Ulrich, we got your Jeremy. What's this? Odd's a new student at the school? That harkens back to Garage Kids. You know, pulling on all the elements. So XANA Awakens Part 1 essentially sets the stage for the show, period. Because technically Part 2, which we'll get to when we get to it, isn't the start of the series chronologically. We don't worry about that one. So it starts off with why, you know, the episode starts off introducing the character dynamics to sort of explain, not necessarily explain, but establish why things are sort of like they are when we eventually would technically get to Teddy Godzilla, but you know, with all the fixed canon that they had made when they changed the Bible at the beginning of season 2. And so what they do with essentially what XANA Awakens is it's a retcon of a episode that technically never happened, which gives them a lot of room to sort of fix and direct the canon going into season 4. which is one reason why we got it at the end of season 3 as a prequel to the entire show. And it does a good job establishing how and why our characters all either know each other, have met in the specific circumstances necessary for them to all end up as warriors or not warriors, and to help introduce the character dynamics that made the show quite popular. So we get Ulrich and Jeremy are classmates who kind of know each other, but the level of friendship isn't really defined, and they're not really friends, but they also, they're classmates. They know each other well, but that's about it. Odd's the new kid in school, so his notoriety isn't quite there yet. Nobody knows him. And Ulrich doesn't really like him yet because he has no reason to like him yet. Granted, I guess after this there isn't much reason to like him still, but whatever. And then we get how Ulrich and Yumi fell in love with each other, because let's be honest, they did that role. It was love at first sight. Come on, you can't argue with me. Flower touched on the dynamics with how Ulrich is the linchpin to everybody in this show. So I won't really touch on that. The only notable missing story beats is how we get Yumi onto Lyoko, but this is a 2-parter, so we still have plenty of time to get to that. And sort of why we don't see Sissy on Lyoko, even though she basically stalks Ulrich every day of his life. S triple plus. Wazy, it's your turn.
Sorry,
Oh wait,
wow.
it's Cam's turn. Well,
What? I said earlier.
Yeah,
used to Wazy going last.
All right. I don't have a lot to say for part 1. I mean, everyone else has already said it, but I like to see how everyone meets each other. Obviously, it starts off with Jeremy narrating kind of a bit in his diary. I think Ulrich's the first one, and eventually it's Odd, and of course, actually, Aelita, or Ulrich, then Odd, and then obviously the one we don't really care about last, Yumi.
Who?
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh man, I love a bridge. Sorry, a side note. I love a bridge. I think it was a bridge, or is it? It's either, I can't remember which one it was. If it was a bridge or Don Lyoko, but they have Yumi not talk. It's so great. It's so great. I love it.
Same.
I think there's a moment where her mouth opens, but then it cuts, transitions, and it's just, I love it. But anyways,
a dream version of
yeah.
Lyoko.
Yeah, it is.
There's another scene I remember from a bridge where like they come out of the scanners for the first time, and then Ulrich's like, "We almost died." It's very close to what they actually say in the episode.
Yeah. Oh man, that's how I would love it, man. If they were real like that. Okay, and then and then there's also Sissy. You get to see kind of why you can kind of see how why the chemistry is what it is throughout the show with Sissy and the gang. It's unfortunate, but I mean, I guess we can get to that later. But it's just kind of, and then obviously Odd's hair. It's like, how can that? I always thought to myself, like, how is his hair like the way it is? Like, the fact that
Lots of hair gel.
Huh? Yeah, lots of hair gel. Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, I guess it's doable, honestly. That, but it's just would never. Ugh, no thanks. What was it? I don't know how what makes his appearance in Lyoko like that, because it has to do with conscious. I forget what it is. What is it?
Your subconscious desires.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's just interesting why Lyoko spikes his hair like that. I mean, I like it though; it's cool. But I just thought about it one time. But yeah, really. Besides that, it's really just that part one is mainly just them like getting to know each other, how they meet in the school. So, but they did it pretty well. I can't remember. Yeah, I'll say S2. I'm trying to remember. It might be part two that was rushed a bit more, but I think this episode still as a whole is gonna be S. I just can't. I don't know. It's weird. Like I've some part of me wants to like put half of it S, half of it A, but it's like, how can an S? How can it be an S if it's half A? I don't know. I'm just gonna say S. Laugh track plays. When was that? When was that?
What?
When was your laugh track plays for? I didn't just now saw it.
No, that was in response to Speedy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dumb Lyoko tier list. I don't know. That's in the future if we ever do.
God. First,
Oh, right.
evolution.
Oh right, that's it. No, yeah, evolution. Yeah, evolution does. We are definitely doing. Okay, that's right. We gotta put this guy. So that's everyone has an S except for one, right? So yeah. So where we want to put it? Do we next to these
S.
season 3 episodes? What?
I think that's a low S easily.
A low S, he said.
A low S because of J-Man's
okay.
A. Unless he wants to change his rank.
Unless J-Man wants to
Is he there?
no.
Oh, he's there.
Unless
Okay.
J-Man wants to not be based.
I mean, I do think final. I mean, I do have to say, if we're putting next to these episodes, final round's still better. So.
I do agree. Final round.
I know. I kind of had after I said that, I also was like hesitated there, but I definitely put it in between.
I think.
Yeah, no.
We didn't see Kiwi go on Lyoko, so this episode is not an
Oh,
S.
that's right. I'm happy we got some Kiwi in the prequel,
Put
though.
it that way. Hypothetically, since it is weighed down by J-Man's A, shouldn't it be at the end? Like
no, I mean, S pluses don't really matter, but
I do think this episode's better than Temporary Insanity as much as
I do agree with that.
So I think in between Final Round and Temporary Insanity.
What do you think, Jamin? Do you think it's better than Temporary Insanity?
Which episode?
XANA Awakens Part 1.
Oh yeah. Do you think XANA Awakens Part 1 is better than Temporary Insanity on the tier list? It's Final Round and Temporary Insanity is your S tiers right now.
Nah, I think Temporary Insanity is better. Because there's a lot like crazier shit happening over there.
Spicy.
Yeah,
Temporary Insanity is a very funny episode.
It is.
It does play around with a fun mechanic, but I think XANA Awakens. Now, I know a lot of it is me being personally more invested in character exploration and setting up lore and discovery, and I think XANA Awakens does all of that. Temporary Insanity is just really funny.
Yeah.
To be clear, that's the one where XANA like switches like the reality of like Ulrich and not. Yeah. So I do choose that one.
I do. Personally, I think it is a better episode than Temporary Insanity. Going by the ranks. God, that's complicated.
I'm gonna leave it here for now. But like, I'm now double thinking myself. No, I don't know. I think my heart says Final Round more.
Yeah,
but
I think I can agree with Final Round being better. It's close. It's like a hairpin like difference.
They're both very, very good episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go on to part 2. Do the
Let
thing.
me randomize again. We do the thing.
Here we go.
The thing.
Yes, exactly. Oh man.
Oh no, I'm first.
Let's go.
Random.org has spoken.
Pixar, Pixar, it didn't happen.
I'm getting there. Hold on.
Sorry. No, you're good.
Okay. Oh man, that means I gotta go and talk about XANA Awakens
Wow.
Part 2.
Yay.
I'm fine with this.
So like I said earlier, XANA Awakens Part 2, Part 1 is about the mystery and discovery. Part 2, while it does also have that, it's more about how is this going to impact their lives to some extent. It doesn't go as hard as the show itself will, but it's the same list. Is it?
Like,
Is it
wait.
really?
Yeah,
I didn't
Not
know
exactly,
it.
actually.
It is.
Because Game Bird was not last. Or not. Wait,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
wait.
Oh, wait.
Okay,
Yeah, because I was
aside
last.
from
Yeah,
Game-
yeah. Because
Cam-
I was
Cam
last.
and Game Bird got
It's,
clipped.
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
slightly different.
It's
Okay, fair enough.
slightly, but it's still. I appreciate the.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's funny, but yeah. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, this one is about how it impacts their lives. You have, because it opens not with, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, this doesn't open with the supercomputer. It just opens with them having breakfast, vibing, chatting about Lyoko stuff. You had the fun bit where Od's just like, yeah, I changed my hair to Lyoko style. Wow. And you even get the intro of him just guzzling down food, and then Orc's just like, do you always eat this much? And he's like, no, I'm not even hungry today.
That's why he's the best character, bro. He's exactly like me.
Yeah, it does a
Weird.
lot. So a lot of people look at XANA Awakens as like, oh, it explains why the Lyoko warriors, like how they discovered the supercomputer and decided to fight XANA, but like it also sets up a lot of the school life stuff. I forgot to mention this, but part 1 introduces like, you know, the whole you're better off not talking about it, Jim, when he goes into the whole story about fighting the beaver. And they're just like, honestly you're better off not talking about that. But and then this one you get you have set up for Odd being a big eater, you have set up for what is it? Like Waze mentioned earlier, Sissy's gang, the early remnants of it. Sissy being a cheerleader, which comes up again in Zero Gravity Zone, which is a season 1 episode. You even have the fun little joke with Jim being like, a chemical teddy bear too. Electric monster, huh? Like, and then next there'll be a chemical teddy bear. Very funny. Oh, Teddy Gazilla. Yeah, I just think that part, there's just a lot of just chill school life vibes, surprisingly, in an episode about them discovering just how dangerous Santa is. Also, I didn't mention this when I talked about part 1, but I do like the opening shot of them just chilling by the vending machine, and Yumi's just casually going to grab soda, but no one acknowledges her yet, so they can have that brought back in the Return to the Past later on to like help set up what the Return to the Past is. I think that's cool. I think that's neat. That they're all just happen to be there when they go back in time. But yeah, let's actually talk about Lyoko stuff. We have XANA messing around with his little electric ball. I honestly had Kenan, he's kind of just messing around, more like seeing intruders and reacting to them, and then he's hoping, yes, the world will become my oyster again, except no, it doesn't work out that way. Because honestly, they're very lucky that XANA isn't just doing a standard attack, like before they figured out how to deactivate the towers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just gives up on a couple of occasions. He attacks, like, what? 4 times the vending machine, the robots, the wires, and then this. So, like, 4 different times, not counting the monsters on Lyoko, before they finally figure out how to take out that tower. But, yeah, XANA messing about is kind of fun. And they don't even realize what it is. They're just like, there's something going on. Electric chemical monster. Oh yeah, I forgot. School life. It also sets up odd calling Jeremy Einstein. Like, that just becomes the thing. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Right, back to Lyoko stuff. We get Yumi on board again. Oric's a linchpin. Yumi is the Orc is the reason Yumi joins the team. Also, just a side note, because I'm in the fan fiction space, I think it's very funny that Yumi joins the Lyoko Warriors the same way a lot of fandom OCs do. XANA attacks. Hey, you know what's going on. I'm following you. Okay, let's put you on Lyoko.
Oh my god! Sorry. I didn't realize this. You're right.
I'm actually guilty of doing this too in my fanfic.
Yeah, I did this in the past too.
This episode is probably why that's how most OCs get on board.
My God.
It
Actually,
makes more
this
sense. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say this episode is actually why we don't have a lot of How the Gang Met fanfics, but yeah.
I've actually heard there used to be a bunch before this came out, but I have not.
That's true.
I have not been in the fandom space that long. I'm not that old, but no, I think that. Sorry. Sorry. But yeah, the it makes more sense here because it's like loose. They haven't established the rules yet or the secret. It's like they're still figuring things out, so no one's gonna bat an eye at it. But like, yeah, it's a little more jarring when this happens way later on. Yumi was over his tea all along and she didn't see it. I love that reaction from you. I'm surprised I haven't mentioned that to you sooner. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize that, but you're right. You're so right.
I have no friends, so I have lots of time. Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Why is she here? She knows how to fight and she got caught up in the attack, so Jeremy's like, okay, fine. Talking that 6 Ranger, just last minute goes on. Also, I do like Yumi going on to Lyoko and everyone reacting. Odd is actually, like, surprisingly very supportive of Yumi. He's like, oh, you look super cool, and he's the reason she figures out how to use her fans as weapons. He's like, just throw them, you never know. I don't think Auric could have figured that out. Also, appreciate the moment where, like, Auric and Yumi do that thing where, like, she uses her feet as a support for Auric to jump off. That's cool. I don't normally make note of a lot of Lyoko, like, fight scene stuff, but that I noticed. That's cool. Also, since I know last stream we were talking about, like, the arrogance of William being his downfall, I just like to point out there is a scene in this where Auric is, like, shouting, like, yeah, I got one, and then immediately gets devirtualized by another block. I can't remember which. But,
that's in part 1. But yeah.
Oh, it might be in part 1, you're
well
right.
in part 2.
Again, my memory of Lyoko scenes is not great, and I normally treat this as one whole episode, so my apologies. But yeah, no, the Lyoko Warriors, granted they aren't like being as cocky as William, but they're still very new, and they're kind of almost all of the devirtualizations were them just getting distracted.
It's a video game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, this looks like the battleground for Babylon Ninja Fighter 3.
Yep.
What is this, a video game?
Yep.
But anyway, yeah. Let's see. And then the scene where Aelita figures out her memory is also really cool. Just her getting surprised by the screen and she's looking around and then cautiously puts her hand. I don't know. I like the execution. I like the realization of her real name, and it's a neat scene. And then we I'm sure other people will talk about this, but then we'll get to the scene where Sissy gets electrocuted and then like tells her, father, like, these kids are in danger. We need to go to I need to tell you, and we need to go to the police. And this is kind of, the Warriors treat this as a deep betrayal, but like we've said many times before, if you've been watching these streams, Sissy's not wrong. She really isn't.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. There's, again, this is
Oops.
something I could probably like write an entire essay on what's great about XANA Awakens as a whole, and I don't want to spend 2 hours just gushing. We'll all get bored. But and also because it would take me a while. This freeform off the cuff. Now it is a stream, so you're here for raw, but that it would be painful to listen to every single thought I have about this episode as I think of it. So I'm not going to say everything, but we forgot to mention Princess Morality. Yes. Yeah, no, Maya's great. I know this is part 1, but I do like all the scenes of her and Jeremy and her exploring the world. It's great. It's well done. I don't really have a ton to say other than it's good, so I didn't mention it, I guess. But yeah, the betrayal, back to that, or it is a really, it is, how do I describe the scene? It's good. Like, how good is it? How is it good? You get the tension of Auric being like, you betrayed us, and Sissy being like, I came here to save you, and then she herself gets betrayed because, and you see Yumi there. I actually do wonder if they were trying to go for some sort of like Sissy and Yumi being foils to each other, where like Sissy's the obvious, like, trying to be Auric's love interest, being very forward, and then Yumi's the one that actually gets to be a Lyoko warrior instead. There might be something there, especially with Sissy's like, who is she, and like, I don't know. It is also cool to see the three of them just united together against Sissy, even though, like, objectively, I think the Lyoko warriors are morally wrong for what they're about to do, but we wouldn't have a show otherwise. So, and then you get the moment where Delmos is like, shut this thing down and come with me, and Jeremy's like, no. And hearing a middle schooler say that to his school principal,
That's great.
is kind of low-key badass.
No.
Yes.
And they're like, and there's like, what are you gonna do? And he's like, I'm gonna launch Return to the Past. I hope it works. Real big gamble there, Jeremy.
Yeah, I know. Another reason.
Because if it didn't, I'm honestly like, if it didn't work, like, Jim just would have had to force him off the desk.
Here comes Jim with the suplex.
Oh, that'd be so funny.
What
I just pictured it in my head.
Also, oh my gosh. Like I lead a blender.
How about we call you Blender?
Maya works with the name. Blender would be weird.
I know.
What's up, Blender?
Blender. That's such a
Hey,
fun
it's
name,
Blendy.
Jeremy.
So let me get this straight. Jeremy both has a thing for virtual chicks as well as household appliances?
Oh my god. I wasn't even thinking that.
Now I just thought of a cursed meme where I just take a blender and just put Aelita's hair on top of it.
Because you remind me of my first blender. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I might want to
Honestly, though, Lyoko reboot would probably use something like 3DS Max, so maybe they just call
Yeah,
it
you're
Max,
right.
which is still
I
a
know,
little
that was what, yeah, they were using that. God, that's even funnier. I'm gonna call you 3D Max.
3DS Max.
Oh, you
yeah.
Max.
I honestly think they'd stick with Maya to be like a reference.
I know.
Because,
My always works perfectly.
yeah, no, it's great.
Oh my god.
Know it.
Yeah, sorry. Keep going.
But yeah, and then you get the Return of the Past, and like I said earlier, that was cool of part 1 to do foreshadowing, because now they're just all there and they're like, wow, Jeremy, that worked. And I do think it's very funny because from Jeremy's perspective, he's just went to go get a drink, and these random kids he barely knows is like, hey, what about all these things that's part of your big secret you just found out about that you haven't told anyone? And he's like, what?
Are you guys stalking me?
How do you know all about that? What?
We'll tell you all about it.
Actually, I do think it's a little sad that, like, from Jeremy's perspective, he just discovered the secret, and then one day these friends just materialize into his life, basically. They're like, oh, yeah, there's this alternative timeline that you don't remember where stuff happened. But, like, he's never gonna remember. He's only gonna remember them telling him about it, not what actually happened. He's not gonna remember all that.
He materialized friends, but couldn't materialize Maya. I can't believe this.
Yeah, and then we cut to the next day, and I just love the cool shot of like the camera's just panning all over Lyoko and through the towers.
Yeah.
Jeremy's talking about Xana.
Love it.
That's really great.
And
then you have the debate of like, well, what are we gonna do? And Aelita's like, we should shut this down, and Jeremy's like, no, I can bring you here. I can do it. It's just gonna take me a few weeks. Yep, a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, Dan. Oh.
And then Yumi has a good line. One of the only good things in the
yeah.
prequel.
I actually think character-wise for Yumi, it's very interesting that the most like reserved and responsible one of the group is like, yeah, we need to do this.
I know, right?
We are the Lyoko warriors after all.
I don't know. That shouldn't have been a Yumi line, but
who was like very much at the beginning, like, no, we should call the police, Jeremy. This is insane.
yeah.
Now he's just like, no, since we know how to deal with the towers now.
Yeah, I wonder the thought process or the writing process, the thought process of writing that, because Yumi obviously was against it later. I think the Lyoko warrior line would have been perfect for Odd.
I like that it's Yumi, actually.
I do. But I'm saying if we were gonna go by that, I think if they had to give someone else, I think Odd would be good.
My reasoning, I think what the episode is trying to imply, especially because it has Yumi say stuff like, I don't have friends, is like, before
I forgot about that line.
I didn't have any friends. Now it's like, maybe these could be my friends. Maybe we could have this secret and share this thing together. And that's why she's more willing to do it now, because
oh my god.
what is she gonna do? Have it shut down and just go back to being a loner? I mean, there might be her thing with Auric, but like that's still new. We don't know where that's going. So, or she doesn't know where that's going. So, like,
oh my god.
Yeah, I do think Yumi was so desperate to be included in something. She's like, yeah, let's keep doing this. And Auric liked being useful and being a hero, and Odd's just there for the ride, honestly. I could get into a whole discussion about the motivations of each of the warriors, but yeah, I do like that Yumi's the one that's just like, after all, we are the Lyoko warriors, like that she is so quick to be like, let's become this friend group, let's do this, let's be together. Friendship.
Please. Just like, please.
Yeah, I know she eventually starts to regret it over time as the fight with XANA starts to take its toll on her relationship with her parents.
This is why I don't have friends.
But, you know.
Sorry, I had to reference this.
The image, the Jeremy quote is, "Wow, guys, that was great. You're like warriors fighting on Lyoko." You me with the fist. Say that again.
Say that again. Fantastic Four from the 2010s, whatever year that was. Yeah.
Oh, and the episode finally ends with more social life setup because again, this episode does a lot to set up the Caddick life. Is you know, they go and they're like, "Oh man, Sissy, we're gonna like absolutely stand you up," and Odd's just like, she's such a pain. She's gonna be such a pain. And I know I've seen like a common interpretation is this is why Sissy starts becoming more antagonistic to the group because they kind of snubbed her for reasons she doesn't remember.
Yeah.
And I know some people like to play around with that space of like Sissy's emotions over all this because it is kind of unfair for them to diss her over something she doesn't remember doing.
Yeah, she becomes a bitch because of them. And I was hating Sissy so much my last rewatch for it. And I, you know, I still somewhat do. I just never hated Sissy more in my life since until my last rewatch. But so with that scene, and you know the reason you were saying about her not remembering, and then you have the last scene in Echo. It's like, God, y'all could have.
I think Holiday in the Fog also kind of supports the theory that, like, she's mad because she wants to be part of the group, but she got snubbed out of it for reasons she doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Because she has that talk with Jim in the closet about how she actually really wants to be part of the gang. But
Yeah.
Which, oddly enough, like, season 1 does explore Sissy a little bit more than some of the other seasons, but, like, a little bit.
I argue season 2 has their moments too.
To be honest,
the scene in the closet in season 1 would work so well if we had XANA Awaken. But because we don't, well, XANA Awakens enhances it because you watch that episode and you're like, well, it's because they can't trust you, Sissy. But like. My bad. It works so well because we don't have XANA Awakens. Sorry. I made a word salad there. No, so it works so well because we don't. When instead of us just going, well, it's because they don't trust you, Sissy, because you're gonna fucking tell about the secret like immediately. We're like, gee, I actually do wonder why they won't let Sissy in, aside from the obvious Ulrich just doesn't really like her all that much and would kind of rather she just
that was the reason in season 1 when they were writing it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but there is more of a complex question in there, especially when it plays well with later episodes. Because even in season 2, we don't have the Sissy blabbed on the group and broke the secret, and that's why they don't trust her and want her in the group. Because then in season 2, when we get episodes like Ultimatum, where Sissy's helping the warriors, you're like, oh yeah, she probably would make a decently okay warrior. Why don't they trust her? Aside from Ulrich just doesn't want to be around her quite often.
I think this is another point that I probably would have forgotten to bring up until this convo, but like, I think this episode, this two-parter proves why Sissy can't be a Lyoko warrior, even though a lot of people in the fandom are down for it. They're like, no, it would be so cool, but like, one, she's going to do the quote-unquote responsible thing of telling the adults, or I guess become a traitor and spill, because what they're doing is incredibly dangerous and lives are in danger. And then there's just the fact that she's not a fighter. Yes, you can make the argument that like she'd be really good as a supporting role where like she only does stuff on the surface and she doesn't do stuff like as a warrior fighting on Lyoko. But I also like to imagine Lyoko warriors just don't have a concept for someone like that in their group, because almost all of them are fighters. The only two that aren't are Jeremy and Aelita, and Aelita eventually becomes a fighter later on. So like, to them, the only roles are either you're a warrior or you're behind the computer screen.
So
yeah.
On this topic, I don't think in season 1, XANA isn't really conceptually that difficult of an opponent where they feel like they need an extra person to help in the real world. Obviously, there are episodes like what's the one where Yumi falls into the digital sea?
That's Just in Time.
All of them?
No, Just in Time's the one with the hair.
Yeah, then they use
Yeah,
the hair.
that's Just Time.
Oh wait, that you're right.
No, it's
No, it's the one with random
God, bulldozers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with the bulldozers.
Oh my God, what's
whatever that episode is named? There are episodes like that where there would have been nice if like Ulrich and Odd and Yumi all just went straight to the factory, and like maybe Sissy was trying to make sure the backhoe tractors don't destroy things or kill people. Like there's episodes where you go, yeah, they could have used like an extra person in the real world. But
Sissy can't really fight against XANA's monsters in the real world either. Like that wouldn't be her role.
But by the time we get to season 2, where there's the polymorphs and the attacks do kind of say, hey, we need more. We could definitely actually use a real world person here. The warriors are just too stressed about XANA to think, we should get another person. And then come season 3, the warriors are like, oh, we're too stressed, we need another person. And they're like, well, William, because obvious.
Yeah, but they really need like another fighter at that point, and Sissy isn't a fighter. But even if you could argue, well, she could become one with character development, and I can kind of agree with that. There's still the fact that like as soon as things get really dangerous, she's going to be a very strong advocate for like, we should tell the authorities this is way over our heads.
Hold on. At the very least, an episode like an episode like Seeing is Believing would be really interesting with Sissy, because Yumi and Sissy would be on the same boat of tell the police.
I mean, I think
I'm just saying hypothetically.
No, I'm not. Not with you, Wazy.
Oh, okay.
It's just.
I know like this is a point of contention within the fan base, and you could probably make an entire video just on this question of should Sissy be a Lyoko warrior. I kind of said my piece here, and I think for the sake of not getting too off topic, we should probably just get back to XANA Awakens Part 2, which.
Okay. Part 2 does a great job of giving us a very good answer, though, because as much as the fans are like, yes, please, 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 this, like, until this episode, there really isn't much to say Sissy shouldn't be a warrior. Now, there's not a whole lot saying she should be a warrior, but there's the balance is there's more saying she should be a warrior than there is saying she shouldn't be. And then then obviously part 2 of XANA Awakens is like, no, she definitely can't be a warrior. She's morally correct, but she can't be a warrior explicitly for that reason.
Yeah. Actually, I do kind of enjoy seeing a little bit of like what Sissy would be like when she's involved in the group, in the gang like this. We get a little bit of it.
I think it's a more earnest interpretation of what Sissy would be like in the group if she was part of it. Because she's
not being actively antagonistic towards them. She is trying to help them, even when they call her a traitor.
Well, it's But it like in contrast to say Ultimatum, where she is 100% helping them and technically part of a group in that moment, but she's not nearly as genuine in it, and she's not entirely in on the secret. Like she understands like they're helping her dad, and she wants to help her dad, and so she's helping them, and she's
okay.
we're
getting into the talk of should Sissy be a Lyoko warrior, and again,
we
are talking about Ultimatum. It's my fault. I brought up Holiday in the Fog.
I'm just addressing how good
well,
of
it makes sense why you brought it up though.
how good of an episode this is at
went longer
addressing the Sissy problem.
But yeah, we've been talking about this point a little too long, and I brought it up, so that's probably a little bit on me.
I have something to say when it's my turn. It's nothing. It's very short though. I'm not trying to.
Yeah. So in general, this is such a solid episode. I could talk about this for hours, but obviously, I want to let everyone else have their turn. So obviously, S+ for me. Both parts are S+. This is such a good. This is such a good episode. So much happens, so much setup. It's so much callbacks to episodes that were already made. It's great. Yes, and I think J-Man would be next, but I think he said he wanted to go last. So would that be Waze then?
It's time. Well, when it comes to the likes of XANA Awakens Part 2, I think right off the bat, I think it's a very good introduction to just how dangerous XANA can be. Like, yeah, we have again, technically, I like to view this episode both through the lens of a first-time viewer, someone who has watched and someone who has watched the show for a long time, as well as or was watching the show for the first time and decided to watch XANA Awakens at the end of season 3. And yeah, it's just a really nice episode in terms of showing off, oh gosh, this computer is dangerous. We have this giant electric ball of doom running around
at the speed of sound. Got no place to go, God.
Follow my rainbow.
God. Oh, we got this electric ball of doom. Oh, God. Yes, rolling around at the speed of sound. And doing it, and like just causing it. It's just extraordinarily dangerous. Sissy gets electrocuted. This thing is just a menace to society. It's chasing Ulrich and Yumi through the sewers. It's crazy, and it's like it's a good first attack. Simple but very effective. And it also kind of shows XANA as well in its like infancy in terms of just in terms of like just attacks. Like, yeah, electricity, electric ball of doom, sure, that'll get rid of them, But shoot, another thing I have to point out with this episode as well, the dynamic, even though it is short-lived, the dynamic of the group being Sissy, Ulrich, and Odd is fun for a short amount of time. Flower mentioned the Einstein line, and we get the who's Einstein from Sissy, which is very funny because like, girl, how are you that dumb? We get her lightly flirting with, lightly fawning over Ulrich the whole time as their buddy fellow Lyoko warrior. She talks about how she can't wait to see how she looks like on Lyoko, and like, you, a first time viewer, maybe you think Sissy is Yumi. Maybe you think Sissy is Yumi in the like promotional images and stuff. It's just like, oh yeah, she's gonna be the cool geisha girl. I don't know, but And it's like, it's exciting to think about because it's like, well, if you're new, it's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see how this sissy girl ends up. You know, maybe she's gonna have a cool arc and development and stuff. You know, like she's a little airheaded now, but I'm sure throughout the course of the show, she's gonna really rise up to the challenge against Xana and all of these threats on Lyoko, and it's gonna be great. You know, it's gonna be great. And like as a fan, you know Sissy, and you know this is not going to end up how she wants to, and I think that's really neat writing. I think that's cool. What's it? And of course, I came to this a little too early, but we have some of the early developments with for what's it? Oh gosh, before I get to that, for how short-lived it was, the dynamic of Sissy, Odd, Ulrich, and Jeremy being the Lyoko Warriors is really fun. Fun, and part of me we need the alternate universe where it was Sissy, Jeremy, Odd, and Ulrich, and like Sissy doesn't tell. Yes, I know she fundamentally would tell, but you know what I mean.
I wouldn't surprise me if there's a fanfic out there that actually does try to explore that concept.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. I haven't read it, but I'm sure it exists. Yeah. Somewhere out there's the coveted AU that I need, but no. What's it? Clara already brought up that it brings up the social aspect, stuff like, and I was too early about it. I'm not going to do the voice again, but fans of Sissy, the early beginnings of Sissy's gang, it was cool. It was cool. We get a little bit of just the dynamics, especially with the teachers, with like Jim and Delmas in terms of like how just getting involved with an attack, that first XANA attack. I think that's really cool. I think that's really cool. I think that's really fun. We get Sissy being on Fox on Lyoko is a neat concept. And of course, but we get Yumi's first time on Lyoko was a lot of fun too. We get just Aelita discovering that yes, that is my real name. Flower already pointed out how well done that scene is. Also, again, another original bit of animation in Code Lyoko. Oh my god! But what's it? What's it? It's neat to see her a little surprised by the screen popping up and her just coming to that realization. Aelita, you know, it's neat. It's fun. What's it? Fun, and yeah, a lot of good stuff. Flower covered a vast majority of the episode. She did a really good job at all of that. Once again, I must point out the cinematography of this episode. They're like just generally making stuff look really neat, really nice in this episode because it's so it's Code Lyoko is okay in terms of like just like shot composition and like how it performs its scenes. Like it's still good. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, but it's like just little things like the character dynamics of Ulrich and Yumi and Ulrich getting that moment of swinging down the ropes, and it's like, what are you? Well, actually, that was in part one. Part one of Ulrich being scared to come down, but Yumi also calls him out on that too. And then, of course, when getting virtualized, it's like, all right, see ya, chicken, you know, and we get that cool virtualization moment, and like the way the theme kicks up as they're stepping in. That virtualization too is just really nicely animated, rare original animation in Code Lyoko.
Which part was it again?
Not when they get in where Ulrich says see ya, chicken.
I thought that was part one
That
though.
is a fun scene.
Sorry?
No, chicken's from... Oh, no, wait.
Chicken's from... No, it's Tsuyumi, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Tsuyumi. It's in part two.
Tsuyumi. Sorry.
Oh,
Ken got
I
Yeah,
thought
no.
you said Sissy.
That's what... No, Tsuyumi, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember when does that take
Actually,
place though. I can't
I
remember
forgot
that.
to mention that, but I do love that it's like Ulrich calling Yumi chicken is what gets her to Lyoko.
I love it.
Yeah. It's
This
great.
story of yours sounds like pure science fiction. Well, whenever I'm going, see you later,
Yeah.
chicken. Okay, no,
Yeah.
I'm going too.
Yeah.
That was before
Look,
they went in
guys.
the underground, right?
Look,
Yeah.
Yumi is obviously related to Marty McFly. Like, come on. It's so obvious.
Marty
You were getting
McFly.
that first.
Back to the Future? What?
Yeah. Thank you, Voss, for correcting me at the "Don't tell me you're scared." But yeah. And oh my god. Yeah, no. In terms of that moment is just really well done. And again, once again, seeing the electric ball on the hollow map as they walk into the lab, that's really cool. You know? I'm sorry. Like, it looks really cool. The lights, the flashing, it's fun. You know? And Oh my gosh. Another one to talk about, of course, is that final scene of the episode with God, them finally figuring out XANA, what's that? And it's the voice over the pan through Lyoko, through the different sectors of Lyoko. It's really neat. It's really cool. It's very. They could have just had them talking into the lab. I lead on the screen. Season 1 or 2 probably would have done that. You know, a season 3 episode, probably a season 4 episode probably would have done that. But it's like, now we want to be cool. We want to be artistic. We want to be, and I like that. It's like, it's showing you all 4 sectors of Lyoko. It's looming. It's dangerous, and with the eerie placement of Xana's theme as well, and it's just like it's neat, it's well done, it's cinema.
We bust out the.
Yeah.
It's the cinema meme. What's his name?
Yeah.
Martin Scorsese? Yeah.
Martin Scorsese, yeah. And of course, oh my god, we get, of course, that final moment of Yumi saying like, hey, we could be, maybe we could be Lyoko warriors. Maybe we could be the Lyoko warriors. No, God, and of course, the kick in. I'm big on like how music is used in like shows and movies and stuff, and I like that. XANA Awakens, if you're watching it as your first episode, which you should, first episode, that's your first time hearing a world without danger within the show, and it's like, that's cool, that's nice, it's like, yeah, they're Lyoko warriors, and it's like, oh god. God, and there's just a lot of things that are very, very well done about XANA Awakens. It is a rare episode where, I'm not saying like, no, they never try and code Lyoko, especially we're getting into season 4 where, whew, but but it's one of those episodes that's just really cinematic and really pretty, and I really, really like that about this episode. Let me see, is there anything else to talk about with this episode that I or Flower haven't? Sissy's portrayal is also Sissy's portrayal from a character standpoint makes a lot of sense, and it's like, at the end of the day, she's just trying to be there for them. This is dangerous. We're in over our heads. We're in over our heads and all of that jazz. So it's like, yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. Ulrich and Yumi's rematch in the gym randomly.
Oh my god, I just forgot about that.
Yeah.
The music on that is too fucking funny.
Yeah, I know. God, the fucking Code Lyoko's romantic tension theme is so funny.
It's just there for 2 seconds, it goes back to being serious. It's serious,
The
romantic,
best.
serious.
But
I need that.
oh god.
It'd be really funny if they. It'd be really funny if they did it similar to like the Miraculous movie where they use Careless Whisper.
Let's go. Oh god. But yeah, oh my god. XANA Awakens is just a remarkable episode. It's fun. It is also this will probably be touched on. We touched on it a little bit, but again, I think it's just a wonderful package put together. Part two ramps up the intensity. It's exciting. It's fun. You're really starting to get a grasp on the characters and the world, and it's a very good introduction to the world. Whether you're a new fan watching the episode for the first time, or an old fan who finally gets to see how they all met, how they came together. It's great, fun. It is well animated. It is excellent. Easy S tier. So yeah.
Okay, is it my turn?
I think J-Man
I'd
wanted
say so.
to go.
No, yeah,
Because it
J-Man.
was
Oh.
technically...
Oh.
Yeah,
Jamie's ready.
my bad. I was gonna go last, but I saw
Is he
food
ready?
and it kind of stole all my attention. So
Uh,
anyway, the floor is mine. Anyway,
What?
so
Go ahead. Just go.
anyway,
Go ahead.
What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
XANA Awakens Part 2. A lot happens in this episode, and a lot of it, actually almost all of it works. A lot of it works so much because of the setup of the first part. And that's why I didn't rank the first part in S tier, because I feel like so much of what makes this episode work was because it was all set up from the very first part, and that's what I really loved about it. So, yeah, I guess I'll give my ranking right now. I'll make a little twist here. This episode, I would say, is an S tier. I would just stay straight up because it's really because of what worked from the previous one. But getting onto the episode itself, almost everything about it, from like the character relationships to the Lyoko scenes to the little rematch that Ulrich and Yumi had in the gym, all of that was great. And what I really liked about Aelita in this episode is that despite the fact that she was told to stay put by Jeremy saying, hey, like, don't go out, like, monsters might kill you and stuff, I like how Aelita was strong enough to pretty much take her curiosity on and explore Lyoko to find answers on her own. It's like, yeah, she couldn't fight or whatever like that. She got herself into trouble, but I like that she took it upon herself to pretty much find her answers. It's like she's curious. She woke up in this world that she has no memories of, that she has no idea of, and I like the fact that she pretty much took it upon herself to pretty much just explore Lyoko, find out what's going on, find out the different sectors and stuff, find out the different towers. All of it is really, really good. And when it comes to this episode's XANA attack, it's pretty standard. But I do like the fact that some of the kids were clowning on Sissy because the whole, oh my gosh, she saw an electrical monster. Because it kind of give you an insight to the fact that, at least this is my headcanon, I don't think Sissy is as popular as she tries to make herself out to be. I don't think that she really is. Yeah. It's because all the kids, as soon as she said, hey, it's like, whatchamacallit, there's an electrical monster in my closet. It's like, there's all this weird stuff going around the school. Everybody just laughed at her. There's not even showing concern. And then people were just so quick to gossip about her too. Especially when was the cheerleading scene in this episode? Was it? Oh yeah, there it was.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
barely anybody clapped. None of the girls clapped for her. No, only Herb and Nicholas. And I'll even say this, bro. It's also my headcanon that Sissy legitimately has no friends. She has no friends because Herb and Nicholas are pretty much her cronies. They're followers, alright? They're pretty much lackeys in a sense. Because as soon as Sissy is like done with Herb and Nicholas, she just pretty much tells them to get the fuck out. Just leave. And stuff like that. So I really, really like the little insight, the little like hints you would see to like Sissy's real character, to at least to me, that she doesn't really have any friends at all. So yeah, when it comes to the other things, I already mentioned the rematch. Yeah, and I love the fact that, this episode had a lot of urgency to it, all right? They're trying to get Maya to the tower. Jeremy, obviously, it's like, I like his desperation, though, because clearly, of course, he wants Maya, or I guess in this case, I'll just call her Aelita. She wants Aelita to pretty much have her own life, come into the real world and stuff like that, because she's got real feelings, real human emotions. But I also like the fact that Odd and Ulrich go quickly to pretty much, like, tell that, yeah, he's got a major crush on her. And I understand that desperation. Because if there was like some sort of pink-haired AI waifu that I had the ability to pretty much bring into the real world, yeah, I would pretty much take any and all risks possible. Even sending my own friends to a virtual world where they may actually die. Don't quote me on that.
We hold on.
Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that.
Hold on. So we all agree that if J-Man finds a supercomputer, we're all cutting ties with him, right?
Yeah, you better. It depends. It depends. If I see a virtual AI waifu and stuff like that, in which like
Oh,
I
yeah,
like
definitely
found
not.
out that there was some way for me to bring her to the real world, yeah, you guys better cut ties with me because I'm about to be
Yeah,
selfish.
like, listen, I respect that you try to do your thing, but like, listen, I'm not being your soldier for 2 years.
I mean, hey, you're missing all the fun, man. You're missing all the fun,
Nah,
but
it's
okay.
okay. It's okay. It's okay. You
But
you
yeah,
can keep that to yourself.
I also one thing I really like about Ulrich is that, of course, in other episodes they tend to make this sort of like whole thing of where, hey, if something embarrassing happens, or if like Ulrich loses to somebody, or he embarrasses himself in front of Yumi and stuff, he tends to sulk for a bit. He tends to hold a grudge, and that's similar to what happened in like the what was it, part one. But I really liked that he didn't hold on to that grudge. He didn't hold on to his like his injured pride of him like losing to a girl. Like he immediately went back to the gym and said, "Yeah, I don't like ending on like a bad note. It's like let's have this rematch and stuff." It's like I like Ulrich, at least in this episode, shows that hey, he can get over things if he really chooses to, and that even though like it wasn't, I guess in his case, embarrassing for him to lose to Yumi in that first part, he was still willing to like let's say train with her again. It's like he just wanted a rematch, and I think I really appreciated that. What else? And also, I think that it was a really smart idea, really great idea to have all three of them, both Odd, Ulrich, and Yumi, and Lyoko and Aelita on Lyoko, just to see what they can do all together for the first time. And I'm glad that thanks to like let's say the rematch that they had in the gym, Ulrich and Yumi were already showing off some like team combos and stuff. Let's say giving Ulrich that little boost in the air to get on top of the crab and pretty much kill it and stuff. That was really cool. I'm glad we're already seeing stuff like that. I also like that you got to see like Aelita's actual ability for the first time, the creativity. I think that's really cool. Really wish that she used that ability a lot more throughout the series, but hey, whatever. But also, oh yeah. This is pretty much one of my favorite lines in the show. Uh the fact that Cartoon Network allowed this episode or allowed this scene without censoring it was just incredible to me.
Oh.
Sissy's infamous line of "What's that Chinese girl doing here?"
Well,
She
I
does.
just remembered that in a fine mess they actually had on saying ni hao.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I love that line. It's just. Oh, I had to replay it. I literally have to replay it right now.
I think Jim
I
has.
kept
Jim
forgetting
also
that.
does a line like that.
I kept forgetting.
Yeah.
I kept
Wait, is it in
forgetting
the same
that was
episode?
I-
Wait,
that.
in part one.
Yeah,
in part one,
it
on
happens.
Japanese,
Oh my god, it happens twice in the same
Yeah.
special.
It's really nice.
It's
Yeah,
Japanese.
and also it's like it's a hit or miss on how I feel about the episode hinting that Sissy was gonna go on Lyoko and stuff like that. It's like, at some points I feel disappointed. I felt like I was blueballed. At some points I'm like, I understand why she's not a Lyoko warrior. But overall, I think it is really good, I guess, for from a writing standpoint, to have at least some sort of like adversary at Caddick, like a human adversary. And I think that's the perfect role for Sissy and stuff. And I guess from like the get-go, she wasn't really like built to be a Lyoko warrior, because as soon as she sensed to like any sort of danger, she's just immediately willing to just tell everybody without even like consulting the Lyoko warriors, just tell everybody about their secret. Pretty much just like how she did in
Right.
Echoes, to where it's like, hey, it's like as soon as she learned about all the secrets that of like all the adventures, like all the things that the Lyoko warriors did and stuff in the factory, she just immediately wanted to go to her father and say, hey, call the police, lock all these kids up and stuff. So I guess she wasn't really built like mentally.
He was
What-
right both times.
To
But
be
go
fair,
on.
the Sissy at the time was like, the others might be in such danger that they can't communicate to the adults, even if they wanted to.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Because she's like, I just got attacked like that. What if they also got attacked? What if they're getting electrocuted to death right now as we speak? This is why she's kind of pushing so hard on her dad and Jim to be like, we need to go. And they're like, we don't want to go down. We don't want to go down the tunnel. And then she's like, well, you can tell that to the police when they find all their bodies burned to a crisp. Like, In
Mhm.
her mind, they are not in a position to tell anybody anything because they're dying.
That is true. That is
Anna and his
true.
robot army are going to destroy the planet.
Mhm. Yeah, and also this is something small I want to mention. It's like my favorite part about the Lyoko scenes, aside from the battles, is just seeing like the different like platforms, seeing like the different like inner like environments of the Lyoko scenes. Like with this episode, there's like this part where Aelito's like platforming and like what was it in the inner parts of the ice sector and stuff where there was like water around and stuff. It's like I wish stuff like that like was in a lot of these different like Lyoko scenes a lot more because it's just the little things, you know, the little things that add up to like really like breathe life into these environments and stuff. It's like I really really like the sliding. I again love all like the jumping off like the waters and stuff. Everything was really really cool. And what else am I missing? And I love how from everything that they've let's say went through in this episode, you know, from Ulrich, let's say having Odd or getting used to Odd as his new roommate to Ulrich and Yumi, pretty much let's say liking each other from early on and stuff, and they became like acquainted with each other because they both do martial arts and stuff. I love how that all culminated into the very last part of the episode, where Ulrich pretty much announces, or pretty much like pretty much announces for the first time that these are pretty much two of his new friends to Sissy and stuff, and it's like I really really did enjoy that, and also I'm not sure how much this works for me. But pretty much after, like, let's say Ulrich leaves with Odd and Yumi, like, down the hall and stuff like that, you're just treated with, like, a whole, like, let's say, like, 2 to 3 minutes of just exposition. Just Jeremy explaining, like, what XANA is, what they need to do and stuff like that. And it's like, and what they pretty much show on the screen is just, like, a montage of all the sectors. And it's like, I feel like the exposition here could have been, like, told a little bit better. Like, they didn't have to, like, do this montage here, but it's sort of just whatever. It's, like, a small thing for me. But
I
go ahead.
sorry, keep going, keep going. Or okay.
I'm just yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, in terms of the exposition being presented in the way that it is, I disagree in where, or well, I appreciate the way.
He missed your part when he was muted. I think.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Actually, I don't know.
I was eating.
I think he did. He did unmute at a certain point, but
Yeah. Did you hear me talk about this bit or no?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, no, I essentially disagree. Yes, you're right. Okay. Sometimes exposition as a as a tool itself, like just having the characters tell you stuff is something that you can do within a story. Like you don't I feel like that it's a little hard to explain, but I feel like that people are a little afraid of the idea of sometimes you can just tell the audience what is going on. You don't necessarily always have to set it up in a particular grandiose way. I know that sounds very anti-writing, and as a writer, oh god. But no, let me, at least within the way it is set up within XANA Awakens, you have all of this stuff happen. Everything that is going on from Jeremy booting up the supercomputer to Jeremy booting up the supercomputer all the way up to the attack and everything that happens, the return to the past. If you want, I will argue that the return to the past is just kind of brought up out of nowhere. I'll give you that, at least within this episode. I still think it's great, but yeah. But in regards to just the exposition of how XANA is introduced at the end of this episode, I don't know. I think it's fine in the sense that we're not just. I think it's fine in the sense that it would be a lot weaker of a scene if it's like Aelita woke up and it's just like, oh my god, Jeremy, my name is Aelita, and like there's this awful program called XANA. XANA here that it's like we just learn for the most part within the scene. We just learned that the demonic, whatever demonic force is within the supercomputer that is attacking everyone is named XANA. Beforehand, we see its symbol. We see it attacking. We see it attacking slowly and building up with the random electrical impulses taking control of Jeremy's robots, the wires, the giant electric ball of energy rolling around at the speed of sound. If we're going to keep up the joke, what's it? God, and everything. So it's like we've already been properly introduced to XANA at this point. We are now learning his name and kind of what he's about. It's like, oh no, there's a dangerous artificial. I found something. XANA. It's a dangerous artificial intelligence program that lives on Lyoko. It's like, okay, we can gather that. We see the same symbol that has been appearing on the computer and the electronics that now it has a name attached to it. It can attack the real world using these towers. We see Aelita both deactivate the red tower and stop the attack immediately. That's what stops it. And we see that he gains control of the world. We see that he's able to attack the world. Somehow through the computer. That much is already understood by the audience. And like, yeah, I don't know. Everything that is exposited in this at the end of this episode is stuff that you already know. It's just kind of putting it in a package at the end of the episode.
It's important though. It's important. What you said earlier, for if you're trying to watch Lyoko for the first time, this would need to be your first episode, of course.
Yeah,
it makes
like
sense.
I don't know.
As a prequel.
I think that I don't know. This is a bit of exposition where we're just telling the audience what is going on.
It's a charm though. It's also a Lyoko charm. I was surprised to hear you say you didn't like that. I thought this is like one of those things that we all.
Lyoko's always been generally very good at balancing exposition with it doesn't overdo it where it's like, okay, we understand everything. And a lot of the times the exposition isn't like what's exactly happening, it's what Jeremy thinks is happening. And sometimes he's wrong. Oftentimes he's wrong. So it's more like a thought process and putting things together and mystery and whatnot. So I honestly like the montage because of how cinematic it felt. It's like where we are describing something, we are putting a name to something we've been experiencing.
Exactly.
Finally, while we are panning through this world and really, finally, truly internalizing what it all means.
I think if you put this exact series of events, if you put the exact scene, at the beginning of XANA Awakens Part 1, it is a lot weaker of a scene. I completely agree with that. But it's like, everything that happened, everything that they're expositing, except for learning XANA's name, is everything we see in XANA Awakens Parts 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
This
is just like a small
tie a bow on
and a recap at the end instead. Just a small.
Yeah, they're just trying to tie a bow on it, both for the audience to have a better understanding of what's going on, and really the most that it does. Again, like I've said, everything you've seen, you're just learning XANA's name.
Yeah, because they had to find. You have to know how they. That has to come up sometime before the.
You can
ends.
argue that there were. I can somewhat agree that you can argue. Yes, there were better ways to name. There were better ways to learn XANA's name.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's fair, but I don't know. In terms of this expository scene, I think that it's good. Genuinely.
There's also the thing
in terms of its place within the episode. Sorry, go on.
No, I think there's also to keep in mind the time limit. They only have so much time, and it's being spent very well on a lot of different things. So them having to be we don't have time to have a 5-minute scene where they organically discover the name of XANA. I can forgive it. Is it perfect? No, but I think with everything else going on, I think it's okay.
Yeah. But you can go on, J-Man. Sorry, I had to debate you. I had to fight.
I think that was it,
Yeah.
though, right?
Yeah, did you
just
have
trying
more?
to yeah, I just want to like see if I'm not trying to think. I just don't want to forget anything because I did forget a couple of things I wanted to talk about in the previous episode, so I want to make sure I got everything out here. Hmm. Yeah, I think that's pretty. Oh, yeah, I guess I'll say this. It's just a fanboy part of me. By the end, I feel like everything was so earned. And when you had all of them like, sitting in Jeremy's room and then eventually they walk down the hallway after Ulrich tells Sissy's off, it's like just seeing Odd, Ulrich, Yumi together, seeing their character designs and seeing their relationships, you can immediately buy them as friends. You can seriously see that they don't feel out of place from each other. They don't. They truly do like feel like they blend together as true friends already from right here. So I feel
Yeah.
like they set up a really good foundation, a really good relationship that obviously that we all grew to love throughout the entire series. The funny part is, man, because of how high budget this episode is, I'm just curious. Like I really like am curious on how it'll feel for a newcomer who's never seen this series before at all to start with this episode and then go to a lower budget episode like Teddy Godzilla. Would they still be interested in the series? Because this is one of the show's high points. This is when the storytelling becomes really, really fantastic. And with season one, it's all episodic until I think like what, the last few episodes of season one. So I'm just really curious on like how a episode like this can really benefit a newcomer who's getting into the show for the first time as soon as they go to the very first episode, which is Teddy Godzilla. So other than that, it's like,
I have
were you
an
gonna say something?
answer. I do have an answer.
Yeah.
Good.
So, like, I am a very strong advocate for XANA Awakens first, not Teddy Godzilla. And while you do bring up a good point that, yes, starting with XANA Awakens and then jumping to season one, which is much lower quality, could be a little jarring, my recommendation is normally if you're watching XANA Awakens first, it's because you've been told to by somebody. And I think the advice is just that somebody should just give a warning. Like, for reasons, you should start with XANA Awakens, but be prepared because they made XANA Awakens in like season 3, and you're gonna go back to season 1, and it's gonna not be as high polished. But then you just get through it, and you will get to that higher quality again later on in the show. So I think just having someone guide you there to that. I mean, yes, it's possible someone could just be watching XANA Awakens out of the blue and not know. But I also don't think like the issue is so jarring that it's like an immediate turn off. Like, oh, XANA Awakens was so cool, but then Teddy Godzilla sucks, so I'm out. Like, why? I can't handle this consistency. I don't know if anyone's really like that.
And I don't know if it's because I know the reason because season one is all mainly episodic, but it's still like watching Xana Awakens. Main point is just that you know what the hell's going on when you do watch season one, because we've already had an example recently that doesn't work.
Yeah, XANA Awakens helps cover one of the biggest flaws in season one, which is that, like, granted, it's not a flaw in the sense that, like, the show's built poorly, but more just, like, it was asked to do something that it wasn't really going to be good at doing, which is introduce the show's premise to people in an episodic format where anyone could watch any episode in any order, and that's really hard to do with the show because the premise itself is so complicated. So, like, the solution they had to do is, like, we're going to put the pieces out, and you'll eventually put everything together after you watch a few episodes. But, like, now we live in the modern era where you're not just, you know, forced to watch a show when it's on. You can watch it whenever you want to, so that becomes a big problem, which is what XANA Awakens solves. You watch XANA Awakens, it tells you everything you need to know, so you're not going into Teddy Godzilla being very confused.
Yeah.
I could say more, but it would just be me repeating.
I mean, I hope that makes sense.
Over and over.
Yeah.
That makes sense to you?
I have... What was it? Didn't I posted a big like mini essay on why XANA Awakens is more important than Teddy Gazilla in
To start
in
with,
the
but
modern
yeah.
day. In the modern day, because I know people are like, oh no, Teddy Gazilla. I started with like season 1, and I think that's the way everyone should start the show. But I've also like you watch this like when you were a kid, just flipping channels and saw it on TV, and you watched a few episodes because you have more patience to do that when you're a kid. Now we're in the era of on-demand streaming, and you watch whenever you want to. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna throw on the first episode and see how I feel, and then Teddy Gazilla is not going to draw the person in because it isn't designed to like hook you in, explain everything, and set up the show. It's meant to help with that in conjunction with other episodes of the show. So like, this is why I'm such a strong advocate for XANA Awakens when you want to get people into the show, because XANA Awakens is not only is it like one of the best episodes in the entire show, but it also does such a good job of introducing this to newcomers, much better than Teddy Gazilla does, much better than any episode in season 1 does. As much as I love season 1. Hi, Momo.
Welcome.
Oh, hey, Momo.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you to hop in anyways.
Ew.
We're talking about XANA Awakens Part 2.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Oh boy.
But yeah, anyway, that's my
That's not
bit
good, oh
about
boy.
XANA Awakens versus Teddy Gazilla. I know it's still your turn, J-Man. I will release it back to you.
No, you're all good. I was just gonna say, my ranking for this... Oh yeah, I guess I'll reiterate this just to make sure. Again, a lot of what makes this episode work is because it was all set up from the very first. So, part of me wants to give this one an S, but I was thinking to myself, nah, I should give this one an A, because both of these episodes together would equal an S. But if you were to rank them separately, they would just be both A's for me.
Okay,
Fair
so what are you
enough.
ranking this part 2?
A.
Yeah.
I have it
Yeah.
down as A.
So as a whole, it's S.
As a whole, that wouldn't. I guess like it'd be hard to explain, but yeah, I would just say like separately they're both A's. But since we're not ranking this episode together, they're pretty much an A.
Okay, so what is your rating for as a whole?
S.
It's okay. I
he's
don't
saying-
get it.
It's not hard to explain, but it's
Okay.
Because we're treating this as half an episode, because
yeah.
it's only half an episode, it's an A. So,
because if I was to
by
rank this one like
itself, in a
separately,
vacuum,
like by
it's A.
itself, like it wouldn't be an S. Because a lot of it, what makes it work is because of like the previous, like the other half.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Because when I was doing my share for part 1, I was like saying to myself like, I do think like part 1 is more A than S, but I can't. But I think this thing as a whole is an S. So having it half A wouldn't make sense to be still S. So I just had to
You
read both
can
S.
do that. No, you can
Okay.
do that, though.
It just felt
Genuinely. That's part of the reason why I said we should split them up.
I don't know,
You
well-
can do that. If you want to change your ranking, you can.
It's whatever. It's not too much difference, but
I not to argue too much on the opinion here, but I feel like saying, well, XANA Awakens Part 2 is A because it needs XANA Awakens Part 1 to do what it does so well is kind of like saying, well, Final Round can't be S+ because it requires like the first 3 seasons to be good.
That's another thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's relying on, Zero Gravity Zone and what's Rock Bottom. That's Rock
yeah.
Bottom. The stuff with Hiroki and Million to Me. Like, it's relying on a lot of stuff already established, and then you're saying, well, this is an S. Well, I don't know what you rank that episode, but to say, oh, that rank needs to be weaker because it's relies on stuff behind it to work. It's like,
Yeah.
if you still want to rank it A, I can't stop you, but I just that's my own take on that take. Like, it's a little odd.
No pun intended, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Wait. I had a question for you, J-Man, since we helped explain. So if you get given your friend, or to tell him to watch Lyoko, would you start him out at Teddy Godzilla or XANA Awakens?
I gotta really think about this one.
No, really? We just
I really do.
I just
I
helped
really
you.
do. Because, like, dude, I grew up watching, like, what was it, Teddy Godzilla first. And I clearly liked the show back then.
Yeah, wait,
Then
listen
again,
to me,
I was
listen to me,
eas-
listen
I think
to
I was
me.
easily impressed by
Listen,
then.
it's
I was
different.
like-
Listen to me. It's very, very different for people who watched it already when they were younger than you getting someone into it now. I promise you, it's gonna hurt because, like I said, we had someone recently try watching it from Teddy Godzilla, and still they're on season 4 now, not liking it still. I think season 1 kind of ruined it for them, but.
To be kind of fair, I think that
That sounds like a season 1 issue.
wasn't going
be
to
Yeah, it is. It kind of is a
Person
season 1
was
issue.
explained that they probably wouldn't like a lot of shows from their childhood because they did not age with the humor.
I was gonna say, to be fair, I don't think that person would like Code Lyoko much anyway.
Yeah,
but-
probably. That's a possibility too. But I just like just because of season 1's, doesn't
I'll also
episodic
say
formula doesn't work
Kyoko
today.
Probably isn't her cup of tea. So you're also probably valid there, Wazy.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just like
Yeah.
several very valid reasons she's not liking it, and none of them are we started on Teddy Godzilla. Starting on Teddy Godzilla probably didn't help, but it's
Yeah.
not the reason.
On
Okay,
paper,
'cause
it's
you
not
could-
okay.
You're just not gonna. It's because you're not gonna. Because people get very confused. Episodic formula doesn't work as much. That doesn't really work at all in modern day. For something like Kolyoko, it's just gonna be very confusing, and it's just the same thing over and over again. They kind of get a little bored and confused.
The problem isn't that it's episodic doesn't work in the modern day. It's more.
It's just
like
not the thing. I say
Kolyoko-
it's not the popular thing.
Lyoko struggled to be episodic and serialized at the same
Yeah.
time, and
Yes.
like it didn't get a chance at the beginning to have an episode that's dedicated to this is the setup and you need to watch this first before you understand everything else. So it kind of had to be awkward about it. That's why, like, I think if XANA Awakens was made in front of season 1, like before Teddy Godzilla, and then we watched it, it would be a lot better. We wouldn't be having this debate. But like episodic shows in general can work in the modern day, like Phineas and Ferb, SpongeBob, other formats. Kolyoko in particular is just its own premise is so complicated that like it takes a bit to explain. So like that's part of why season 1 is so hard to get into just raw, because Kolyoko is just really hard. Is hard to get into. It's hard to build a show like Kolyoko as an episodic show.
I just
They
don't-
somehow made it
The
work,
thing is with
but
me- The thing is with me is that on paper, starting with Teddy Godzilla is not a bad idea. It's not. I just feel like the reason why it's not the best starting point is because Teddy Godzilla is like one of the lower quality episodes out there. Not just within budget, but it's like a lot of the stuff that happens in there is not really that interesting in comparison to the episodes that follow after. So yeah, to make it a long story short, it's like, yeah, it's definitely XANA Awakens for me. That's where I would rather start and stuff.
yes,
Uh,
you've succeeded.
Okay, but I was just
Oh
like,
my
I was just very curious because I was trying to help earlier. I was just like, I didn't know because it sounded like the second time when I asked the question, it sounded like nostalgia. You were leaning because of the nostalgia, which I understand, but
Because that's the thing, Code Lyoko has a cool concept, and I feel
Yeah.
like that alone can get a lot of people into the series, even if you didn't start with
Be
XANA
surprised.
Awakens.
Be
Well, I mean,
very
all of us got
surprised.
into it. It's like, dude, like I feel like the concept, even nowadays, is still very unique. I don't know any other show that's doing this exact sort of thing that Code Lyoko is doing. So I feel like that alone would get people intrigued to get into the series, even if it's not with XANA Awakens, even if you do start with season 1 as is. But even then, it's like, again, going to like something like Teddy Godzilla, where I don't feel like the narrative is as interesting. The Lyoko scenes, again, it's not one of the best, like, let's say, showings of like what the show has to offer in terms of battles and stuff. It's not the best, and I can see why. Like, if you're someone who, like, let's say, is a little bit older, who's getting into this show for the first time, who does start with Teddy Godzilla, I can see people getting slightly bored, because it is a lower budget episode and it is lower of quality. But at the same time, man, on paper, it's like it's not the worst place to start.
it's not the
I guess,
worst.
but
It's just
I'd still go with
it's just
XANA Awakens.
Yeah, it's just a bit more helpful if you're bringing on a newcomer. That's really. I mean, and give them the disclaimer of the warning of season 1 being episodic and just waiting. It does and telling them it does get better. If you just kind of say, watch this without the warning, it's just not gonna. I don't think it's gonna go as well.
Mm-hmm.
But they could still not like it even if you do give them those warnings. But it just helps out a lot. And by the way, you kept saying Teddy Godzilla is I forgot the words you used, but every time you said it, it just kind of hurt my heart because I think Teddy Godzilla
was it lower quality?
Something like that.
Oh yeah.
But like it hurt me a little bit every time you said it because Teddy Godzilla is such a unrealistic fun gem of an episode.
It's clunky.
Yeah.
It is like,
but it is the first episode, to be fair.
It's like a guilty episode. It's more so like a guilty pleasure.
It's very
for me, but
silly.
It's like
One.
if I was supposed to look at it like unbiasedly, man, like I can't rate it like high or even like mid tier in terms of like quality Code Lyoko episodes. But it's like it's more so one that I like purely out of bias more than anything.
Gotcha.
Wow.
It's just one of those silly ones
actually,
for me.
I think Teddy Godzilla is more enjoyable after you've watched the entire show and you get the premise. If you're jumping into Teddy Godzilla with wise,
I guess yeah, it's very different. I guess yeah.
Oh.
You don't really get a lot of like. I think Teddy Godzilla is one of those standalone episodes that's just. I mean, it has its quirkiness throughout the series, but Teddy Godzilla, something about it is just you don't get something like that.
It tries to be like a season, like an intro to the show because it has characters explaining. It explains various exposition things that like they should already know at this point, but they're doing it because they're like, well, this is the first episode of the show, so people are gonna go in and then they hear this bits and then they'll put together what happens, and it's like it's very clunky. To be fair, I think it is like one of the first episodes they ever made, and like it takes time for studios to really figure out how to do that right. So like, but it's awkward. Teddy Godzilla is very, very awkward. It's fun if you're willing to put up with the season 1 weirdness, but it has its problems for sure.
But nah, man. The weirdness of season 1 makes that season peak. So I'll say that.
It's fine.
Oh, that's a take.
Well, like as the best season though.
As the best season in terms of XANA attacks, yes.
Oh.
In terms of everything else, no.
Okay. Because I don't remember you saying season 1 was your favorite.
Yeah. It's a take we can discuss like some other time, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Now it's Speedy's turn.
Right. Okay, here's some of the notes that I wrote. I also like the establishment of the characters and personalities and why Jim doesn't like to talk about his stories. And I also like Yumi being a part of the team. I wrote that awkwardly. Anyway, Odd being supportive is pretty neat. It is a bit of a hot topic whether or not the characters are in the wrong to keep the supercomputer running as long as they have, as Sissy read the Warriors out. There's a perspective that she did to save them from XANA, and in the only way she could, but the show treats it like it's a very bad thing she did. I feel like if they wanted Sissy to be in the wrong for doing what she did, maybe she could have only thought about Ulrich's safety or her own safety, and maybe tried to manipulate her story into slandering Jeremy for being horrible and putting her and Ulrich in danger while removing Jeremy's motives on why he wanted the supercomputer on, despite the writing on the wall telling him every reason why he shouldn't turn it off. Yeah, that's all my notes.
That's it?
I just want to say, oh my god, Kat, that's really interesting, actually. Like, that's a good way to make Sissy, completely in the wrong. Like,
What?
I was like, wow, like, what's it?
I missed it.
If she was only
like,
thinking about herself. If she was only thinking about herself, then that would have worked.
Thinking about herself and essentially twisting Jeremy, twisting it so that oh no, Jeremy is this horrible manipulator and stuff like that, and he was putting me and Ulrich in danger. hell, throw in Odd too. Jeremy and Odd are these horrible people, you know.
Yeah.
But me and Ulrich were good, you
I
know.
hadn't
And I'm
thought
like,
of that either.
I like that, yeah.
Worst time for
Like,
me
yeah,
to
that-
be getting up to like turn on my light.
Like, yeah, it is a good way to put Sissy more in the wrong, you know. Like that's
like
clever.
that.
Yeah.
She is. No, okay.
Uh,
Oh, what's your ranking?
Oh, my ranking's S.
Oh, yeah.
S. Okay. All right. Who's next?
You are.
Oh,
You are.
all right. Okay.
Rock us on, Cam.
I'll try. Oh,
So,
my
what did your
God.
grandma think about this episode?
My grandma loved it.
God, we have to explain the joke now.
I know. We were gonna do a tier stream last week, but I forgot I had plans. My grandma's surprise birthday, and so Wazy made a joke about. But you're not gonna do this at your grandma's house. And I forgot to follow up on that actually, that notification, and I forgot. I got busy, but I was gonna be like, fine, yeah, I'll grab my stuff. No, I did say that part, but then I was like, all right, I was gonna ping y'all and be like, all right, I got everything set up. Y'all ready? And I had to feel like you probably would have believed me a bit, but I forgot to do it. But yeah, my grandma thought it was great. She says S tier, better in the list. Grandma rock on.
Yeah, the next day I came into the server and I said, "What's it?" in our secret chat for streams. I said, "What's it?" Great stream out last night, everybody. You know, I wasn't expecting Cam's grandma to have such in-depth opinions on XANA Awakens, but she really changed my perspective on the episode. Granny's got hands in an argument, and I have so much respect for her. Cam, how come you could never be this convincing?
Oh God, I was expecting that the next day. I was good.
Yeah.
Oh,
we were gonna mention it, and then earlier when Cam was not doing great at convincing J-Man to XANA Awakens was a better episode, was a better starter than Teddy Gozella. I said in the same secret chat. See, exactly as I was saying, Cam isn't as convincing as his grandma. Granny Rock-On would have been able to convince J-Man that watching XANA Awakens first is the only and obvious choice. And then Kat mentioned it, so now here we are, explaining the joke. Yeah.
Oh my cheeks. Oh God.
Oh God.
Man, I don't even know where to begin, man. Crap.
Did you lose your train of thought?
Just read my grandma's notes here.
Yeah, exactly. She's so eloquent in her speech. You'll be able to just find it from it.
Man. I guess this second half was more action packed. I guess. Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think what I was gonna say about. No, I'll say that for last. Man, I don't think I have a lot to say. It's already been said, and I'm okay with being last twice for once, actually. But I'm giving it an S. Oh, you know what? I do. Is it gone? No, it's still here. All right. Oh fuck. No, wrong chat. But there was one part on Lyoko where Aelita was using her creativity to build an ice wall, and here's the timestamp for it, 1843. Oh, let me put this in the chat too, actually, in the YouTube chat. Oh, I can't. Wait, what? Hold on, can I? Copy.
Oh, I remember this.
Like
I said before, almost all their devirtualizations were just them getting distracted. Yumi's like, hey, Maya's about to go to the tower. Whoops. get cracked.
Whoopsie doopsie.
Yep.
But also, to be fair, she kind of didn't expect the crab to break through the ice wall.
I mean, she like literally as soon as she made the wall, like the crab was just taking its time and not giving up on devirtualizing Yumi especially. She's not hearing the ice beam, like the beams hitting the ice and it cracking. You oblivious as fuck. She a dumb bitch is what. But I just love the effort that the of the crab and not giving up on devirtualizing Yumi. I love that a lot. It's one of the main reasons why I want to give this an S tier here. Besides that, I want to talk. I had one little thing to talk about with Sissy. She can't be trusted, and they were, and then Sissy is just a fucking bitch throughout season 1 and season 2.
Cook Cam.
But most hated character. She gets that title, especially after my last rewatch. I'm sorry. I understand that the local warriors kind of did her dirty, but. And, Sissy is definitely in the right for, trying to get people involved and stopping what they were doing. But then again, now that, time has went on, now they have to finish the job. But they can't bring, there's some good parts of Sissy. There's some very good moments of Sissy, yes. But I don't know if I can even be friends with someone, like even if they try to mate up, the way she is with other people, how can I don't know if she could really be trusted just to be her friend alone. I just feel like I don't know. That's someone I wouldn't. That's some negativity and a vibe I wouldn't want to be around.
She broke the #1 rule.
I mean, she's got no friends.
Don't. You got to keep the secret.
Yeah. So when I think about the what Flower said about the Warriors kind of. She doesn't know why exactly they're being rude to her because of the memory that she doesn't have anymore. But then I brought up Echoes where they're just like, hey, if you want to be with us, just leave us alone or something like that. I'm like, really? Was that easy? You could have done that before? But then I thought to myself right after that, no, they couldn't, because if they decided to try to be friends with her, to be part of the gang, that means she would kind of have to know their secrets again. And they can have other friends why can't I think of any side characters who are their friends? God, because they could have friends, maybe not close friends. Yeah. They're not close friends like the rest, but Sissy could be still somewhat, I guess, a friend, but I just feel like if they tried, I think it would have Sissy would be too clingy maybe in their business, and just if they had to, that means they would have to tell the secret, and you know how that goes.
I mean, I think part of it is the Lyoko warriors are just jerks inherently.
I do, yeah, but I mean, it's still a reason why, yeah, they holding that grudge for a very long time. But...
I'm just gonna say it. They've almost died so many times. They're allowed to be a little bit of a jerk, even if it's self-imposed almost death.
I mean, not at but the first moment was XANA Awakens Part 2, and that's a moment where they shouldn't have been a jerk. They should have understood why she did what she did. But since that didn't go the way it went, I think other times throughout the series, they're still being way too hard on her. But I mean, and Sissy does it, and that could be why Sissy's just always the bitch she is. But I just I don't know how. This is why you don't bully, you guys, because you don't know what can affect someone.
The thing is with me and Sissy, I feel like part of the reason she's I said it multiple times, but I feel like the reason why she's the bitch that she is right now is because she has no friends. She doesn't know what trust feels like. She doesn't know, for the most part, what empathy feels like. So it's I feel like she knows, or rather she plays the role of being the quote-unquote popular girl because she doesn't want the other students at Caddick to understand her true feelings, to know her true feelings, to know that she, low-key, is let's say really unhappy and stuff. So I feel like the whole, like, let's say bitch persona is pretty much what was it called? It's pretty much like a mask. It's a hide her true feelings and stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like even because they only known Sissy for that short amount of time in XANA Awakens, like they first met Sissy then.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if that XANA Awakens 2 incident didn't happen and they kind of like stayed friends, well, I know she would definitely still probably eventually she's gonna tell someone about how dangerous the stuff they're doing is, but if they kept being friends, I don't know. I feel like that side of her would still come out towards other people, or just maybe even to the main group at times. I don't know. We won't ever know, but that's just kind of the vibe I get from someone who acts like that.
Sissy is also 13. I was just gonna point
Oh,
that as well.
for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
I hate you, but you're right.
Sorry.
I don't think of them.
Yeah.
A lot of times I don't.
Everybody else.
But a lot of times I don't
so
think.
is everybody else. They're also all
right.
jerks as well. They're
All right,
13,
yeah.
But,
You know,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, out of the bunch in this show, she's the worst of them all. But yes, they're all 13. Thank you for pointing that out, because sometimes I forget how young they are. But she happens to be the only 13-year-old bitch. Yeah, I'm done. I already said S, so let's see where we're gonna put this bitch. Yeah, a lot of cussing in this stream. I feel like this is one of the most. Before we started streaming, we were just like,
not believe you have sailor
Momo,
mouth,
do you-
Cam.
oh, I'm sorry. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I haven't even I knew she came in a while back, and then just haven't. I guess Momo, are you there?
Yeah, I have a new microphone, so it picks up a lot of sound, and I just was like, I'll just mute myself while I'm sewing.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I kind of forgot you were here.
There's only Momo in the
Oh
back.
my
No,
god.
you're cool.
I was about like to drag this thing
Quiet,
over there.
so-
Oh my god.
We're just chilling, bro.
This clip.
Hold on, let me.
POV, you found out about Lyoko, but we
You
reset
good?
time to gaslight you.
So
POV,
sorry,
you
Cat's
found
clip
out
in
about
live voice
Lyoko,
chat
but
is
we
killing
reset
me.
time to
What is
gaslight
the
you.
clip?
It's in live voice chat from
Oh,
Billiam's video.
Oh no.
Oh wait, let me scroll up a
The
little bit.
addition
I
of the
can let
forehead.
y'all probably already heard it, but let me scroll up a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna do that thing. This is what it sounds like.
POV, you found out about Lyoko, but we reset time to gaslight you. POV, you found out about Lyoko, but we reset time to gaslight you. POV.
Still
It's
being
the fucking
expansion.
forehead for me. Yeah, it's the forehead thing for me.
We went back in time to gaslight you.
Alright,
Yeah, sorry.
Anyways.
Momo.
Momo, flip the floor.
Oh, nah. Fucking D tier. No William, D tier.
That's
You know what? I actually expected that. Not gonna lie.
I should have expected that.
Petition to revoke Momo's vote from the vote pool.
Nah, I respect it.
Wait, I don't
Every
think
vote
she's
is
done.
valid.
Overruled. I'm a mod. Overruled.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
exactly.
She got you there.
I don't follow mod, I respect it. So
You know, you may be a mod, but
Yes.
I am the acolyte of Lord Peter Duncan.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a tough one.
Precede you.
So what are you saying, Momo?
yeah.
Of course I joined in late, so I'm not sure what's been said because I haven't been watching.
I got a BRB, so S rank if you don't have time for me.
Okay. Oh right, you haven't done part 2 yet. Oh my god. I thought we were done. Oh my. I'm sorry. I am so off today, guys. I'm just forgetting about everybody.
I told you.
Hey.
XANA Awakens Part 1 happened so fast because we were all holding back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel so bad. Well, okay. So Dylan said that. You can talk about both if you want, as a whole. If you want,
Yeah.
since we already did part 1. So.
That's sounds good. When it comes to like this is one of the easier episodes to digest if as a new fan for sure. Like whenever okay, so for example, my brother's roommate, I wanted to show him Code Lyoko. and I gave him the option. I gave him a choice, and I said, do you want to watch the first episode of the show that throws you right in, no explanations, or do you want to watch the prequels that kind of give you more of a baseline?
Exactly.
And I always do that. When anybody wants to watch Code Lyoko, I always give them the choice. That way I don't get kind of accountable if they don't like it.
Smart though.
And so I always give them the option of, do you want the as it's made first episode Teddy Godzilla, or do you want the kind of explanations and better animation? And I always warn them too. The animation of Teddy Godzilla is rough, but if you get through the little bit of it, it gets better. I always warn because I'm like, because I
That's
even
good.
ended up showing
The
them like
warnings are
videos of
important.
season 3. I ended up like showing clips of like season 3, being like, this is what we get to eventually. Like it gets better, I promise. But I like the episode. It's not an episode I would skip. There's a couple episodes of Code Lyoko that I would skip on like a shuffle, like on the YouTube album shuffle. There's a couple I do skip a ton. But it's not one that I'm like mad about that I have to watch. I do really enjoy the scene with Ulrich going to Lyoko for the first time. That's always really fun. The people going there for the first time and trying to like figure out their power sets and different things. I don't know, it's a solid episode all the way around. It's not bad, but it's not like the best thing I've seen. It's not Final Round. So
Right.
like I would give it like I'll give it like an A tier. Like it's fine. It's a good starting baseline for a really good show.
I'll let it pass. I think if it was below A, we would have a problem.
Yeah, it's high A. I just think it's
Yeah, it's okay.
because it's so like you know what happens in the end. It's like you know the ending before the beginning even starts because it's a prequel. So it's kind of like you don't have any surprises that are in store. Maybe Sissy, but
It's a
I
I
think
mean, if
the
you put it
biggest-
that way, it's like it's kind of half and half of the point that you just said,
Yeah.
and then the first half of want to know just how they did get together, how they
yeah, it's interesting. I think the biggest surprise was just Odd's haircut in the first episode.
yeah
I think that was the biggest surprise that I had of all of them.
actually yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's a solid episode, but I don't think it's anything special. So I
But
think
it
I'd
is a
rank it high
special-
A.
Okay.
But
I'm
it
kidding.
is.
Well, it was advertised as a special.
And William's not in it, so it gets dock points for that.
Right.
That natural bias.
Hee hee.
All right. So now we have our rankings. So that's 2 A's. Right. And then the rest is S.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa, that's interesting. Let's bring up the tier list here.
It,
Well, at least for me.
it
All right.
can't be higher than Final Round.
It obviously
It can't be higher
can't,
than
especially we
Final
have
Round.
2 A's
Yeah.
instead of 1. Even though it's an extra rank. So
It's sorry, go on.
we're right there. I don't know. It's either since it is a part of since this is technically one episode, it gets the pass of it can go in front of part 1. But is that what everyone feels like, or does it go between part 1 and Temporary Insanity?
I feel like a lot of
Say
people
between.
think XA2 is better than Xanawakens Part 1, so I think it should go ahead of Xanawakens 1.
Would you say,
Agreed.
Jamin?
I feel like between like Temporary Insanity and Part 1.
I thought you liked
Well, I
part
think
2.
Temporary Insandy's better, but that's just me.
You what? Oh yeah. You said I thought you said you liked part 2 better, Jamin.
Yeah.
Wait, what am I saying? What am I saying? Oh my god, yeah. Temporary
Okay,
Insanity is
okay.
better.
No wait, what?
Oh.
You bitch.
Do
This
you
is...
prefer Xanawakens Part 1 or Part 2?
Yeah, which part 1? Yeah, I thought you liked part 2 more than part 1, right?
I do, but it's like you're still putting it in S, right? Unless I'm like missing.
Yeah,
something.
it's an S. Yeah, but there's
yeah,
mostly
yeah.
S's.
That's what I said it the first time. Yeah, so it's like I guess I would still put it like Temporary Insanity over.
I know you wanted Temporary Insanity in front of the whole sequel. I just remember. I thought you had said.
We could go down the list.
Yeah, that's fine. I just was thrown off there for a second, so my bad.
Because
We could go down. Yeah.
I forgot
just
that you
like
guys
all
are
of us.
ranking it S anyway, because it's like that wasn't my pick. That's why
I know. I'm
confused.
sorry. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad.
Is it better than
Cat?
like? Yeah.
Yeah.
Part 2 or part 1? What's the best part? Better.
It's kind of hard for me because I like both of them. They're both S's for me.
This is why
Right.
I asked earlier before the stream. This is what
I know that's one of the reasons why. I know. Goodness,
I think this is interesting. I think it makes good content.
Good content.
and I agree. At the
Oh my
same
goodness.
time, I'm like, this is gonna be hard.
It is hard. I guess I picked part 2 just because there's more to the second half.
I
The,
think
like,
a lot of
oh.
people are liking part 2 more than part 1.
I'm gonna. All right.
To
I'll
me,
just-
they're like
technically it's the
about
same.
same
Yeah,
caliber.
technically they're the same. So it doesn't really, I guess, matter too much. But there you have it, guys.
Boss is eating popcorn right now.
All right. Wait,
Who?
hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what we need to do is we need to rank XANA Awakens as a single episode for its 1 and
Oh, gee.
What'd you say?
we need to rank them as a single episode now.
Sure.
Power hour.
So,
Power
yeah,
hour.
Flower, redo the thing.
That's the whole episode of XANA Awakens.
Start over.
Yeah, as
It'd just be the same. Everyone
One
would.
single episode, I'll give it a B.
No, you wouldn't.
Oh,
Yeah,
Why?
B for bitchin'. no, it's an S. It's an S.
Yeah, because I know.
I
I,
was
think
kidding.
everyone. Well, there would be 1A actually. Momo would, but yeah.
which would leave us back at the same spot.
I know, right?
What is it? Put it above final round.
Listen, you put William in XANA Awakens, and it's over. It's S tier. But if he's not in it, I don't
That's why
care.
season 1 as a whole she doesn't like.
What if I edit
Exactly.
the episode?
I mean, the
and put
Ghost
a
Channel, though.
single PNG
I only
of
start
William?
Lyoko with first episode with
So-
William. When
so
the
what's-
William arc starts, I start watching.
I don't remember if
Oh
you were
my
there, but
God.
what's your rank for Ghost Channel?
Ghost Channel?
Yeah.
He was there, I think.
But
Gotta
there's
pull
no William.
Wikipedia. Hold on.
There's no.
Where's Wikipedia?
Oh, they said-
But Cam, remember we
Oh, welcome
ranked Ghost Channel before Momo lost their way and started standing the wrong character.
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Harsh
That's-
words right there.
That is also kind of true. It was Oric.
Like Cam, legit. You need to remember we ranked Ghost Channel before Momo became unbased.
Before I got Xanified.
Yeah. Oh, I was legit curious. Now it's all William. Ghost Channel is one
What
of the
season's
higher season
that?
1 episodes. Huh?
Season
hell,
1.
season-
Oh shoot! Oh my goodness, Momo! I have to tell you. I'm sorry. Ghost Channel is episode 24 of season 1.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I gotta scroll through Wikipedia.
It's the no. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
One
Let me
where they
keep
were sent
continuing.
into,
It's
like,
the
a fake reality and stuff
yeah,
like
the
that.
bubble, the simulation bubble.
Do we really need to
Xana.
explain
Yes,
Ghost
yes.
Channel?
Apparently, Dylan.
Yeah, we do.
Not everyone.
There's
is
like goes
covered.
over 90
We're,
episodes.
we're not. Yeah, not everyone.
There it is. Okay.
Never can't believe it.
I'm reading the Wikipedia. Hold on. I'm
No problem.
I'm the most casual watcher here. I don't know the
I
episode.
know. I
watch them out of order.
I forgot you told us that, and I was just like, Ghost Channel. Yeah, Ghost Channel.
Listen, I know the plot. I know the episodes. I watch them out of order without the episode names.
Yeah,
so,
that hurt.
can't.
The season 1 is peak. I'm just kidding.
It's just the one where Xana traps them on Lyoko and makes it look like it's the real world. That one.
I mean, I don't understand why it matters my ranking now, but
I
don't think
only
I get the joke.
only
Because
it was
Cam
kind of a
loves your
joke. It was
opinions.
kind of a joke because you were saying Xana Awakens didn't have William in it, so you don't rank it as
Xana Awakens
high.
doesn't have William. No, anything that doesn't have William in it is straight A tier, and it only goes up from there because William would be in it.
All right, I just guess Ghost Channel is just a powerful season 1 episode without William. That's why I was curious on your ranking for it.
I mean, I thought the whole "oh, William's not in it, it's bad" was kind of a joke. I didn't think it was serious.
It's somewhat.
No, it's a joke.
It's a little bit in there.
Nah,
A
bro,
little part.
stage
It's a
it,
little.
come on,
It's a
William.
little bit a part of the
William's
ranking.
It's a little true.
Oh man, my head.
So I thought most of the ranking, from my understanding, was just it doesn't tell us anything new. It just tells us, the past. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Speculating. Anyway, we got our ranking.
Yeah, that was very chaotic. Sorry for the chaos. Oh, chaos. Anyways, let me. Yeah,
Oh my God.
it's all it's all set up now.
Can you stop?
I just hit my knee. Damn it. All right. There's nothing else to do here, you guys. I think we have to end the stream now. Sad face.
Sad face.
We can talk about William.
Yeah, it looks like we have to end
Yeah,
the stream.
William returns. Let's go.
William's
Oh, yeah,
design
that's-
that I realized was actually really slutty.
Wait, what?
Wait, what? Who's slutty?
William's awesome
Oh, right.
design I realized was very slutty.
Yeah,
That was like a whole-
the
The corset and the
Buckles
garter
they have
belt.
in the-
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Xana, but Xana's the one who gave that to him. Xana's the one that made that choice.
Xana, a little freak.
I mean, we established that.
Xana, do you have some- Xana, do you have
And
something
I'm
to
gonna back
say?
my freak.
All right.
You have
But yeah,
something to
no.
say, Xana?
Next weekend, I don't have anything that I know of. But next weekend, next Saturday would be the season 4 premiere.
Oh, yeah.
We're finally here.
I know. We just couldn't. Oh my. We just didn't want to finish season 3. We just didn't want to. We just wanted to save her as long as we could.
You
That's
wanted to keep me
incorrect.
away from William as long as you possibly could. You wanted to keep me away from him.
No,
for as
no,
long
that's
as
not it
possible.
at all. You had William in season 3.
How have we been keeping you away from William when he's been in the entire past 2 seasons?
That's
Because now we have the good William.
Yeah, the
We've got
the bad.
Good William.
You know what she means.
I mean, he literally calls himself.
Let me
Well,
check
like,
my
good
moral
William.
compass to make
And-
sure I'm on the correct side of morality.
Oh my gosh.
Boss with the next week, the second best season. So I assume that your favorite season is season 3, right? Yeah, I know.
He's in.
It's probably gonna be
Yeah,
season
right.
2, but it's actually season 3.
Season 1.
Momo, like, the Warriors
Actually,
are
you'd be-
evil.
actually, you
but
would be crazy
Xana
to say
William
season
is
3.
good.
Because I don't even
Hey,
think season 3 is
Xana
the best.
William? 10 out of 10.
On a scale of what? How
Oh my God.
fucking evil he is?
I'll take it any day. Wazy knows my whole thing is Vanitas. It's close enough. Welcome back, Vanitas.
Oh God.
The stream does not feel complete without the obligatory William gush.
Yippee! I'm here. I have a new
Yippee.
microphone. I'm ready.
I'm surprised nobody ever mentioned anything about Kingdom Hearts yet.
You bitch.
I did.
Oh wait.
Well, yeah,
no,
she
I
did. Well,
forgot.
she
You know-
just did. Yeah. Well,
You know-
that was a pass.
Momo,
Mhm.
if I ever get to reboot Code Lyoko, I'm going to kill William in the most gruesome way possible. Just to spite you.
That's so. Why would you do that?
That's why? What would she do to you? Like, that was so.
Why would you kill
I'm
him?
going to have Xana possess him and then throw him into a vat
Just-
of boiling
just for
water
funsies.
that
The angsty
spills
fanfiction
into
I
a
could get
vat
out of
of
that.
molten iron.
God.
Alright, but if angsty fanfics I could get out of that, might be good.
Stop playing. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. So everybody in the stream, thank you for joining, Boss, and everyone, thanks for joining the VC. We will do this again next weekend for season 4 for at least 2 to 4 episodes. We'll see. At most. I don't know. Season 4 is probably gonna have a lot of loaded ones, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I know it's
There's
a
a
longer
lot of
one, but
Season 4 is going to have a surprising amount of C tiers.
there's some of those. Yeah, there's some of those fillers that shouldn't be in there,
no.
and
Season
the
4 is
B
probably
plots,
gonna have
bro.
A couple D tiers,
The B
considering
plots.
how you people ranked fucking season 3 episodes.
it's the B plots and the fillers for me that just. I hope that we can get through those fast. I swear to God, we did Tidal Wave for way too long. I don't trust y'all anymore. I don't trust y'all anymore. That laugh was. Man, yeah. Bye, guys.
Adios.
Tower deactivated.
So long.
Oh,
That's my line.
I know.